You're tuned in to Cup Check Radio. So you already know it's about to go down. I tune in. You should too. Coming to you live with your host, Alex Brooks.
Step into my office. What? Because you're fired.
You're tuned in to Cup Check Radio on WODU. What is it? The lifeline of the heartbeat of ODU.
Yeah.
Changed it up. Still working on it. As you hear, Ron is still super glued to the chair, so he is here again.
Let me out!
He's stuck.
He won't let me leave.
He's stuck. And we also have two guys from KVR Sports, another great show on WODU. Yeah. So what's going on here is a round table. You might go, they have way too many people.
Alex, our table is square.
You might be right. And yes, our table is square. But we're calling it a round table here because that's what we do. With that being said, first ever round table. We'll try to do this like bi-weekly, something like that. Twice a month. That's what bi-weekly is if you didn't know. But yeah. So that's the plan. So got a lot to cover, obviously. Football. We'll get all of our takes on all this. We got football, we got basketball, we got college basketball.
Yes.
No baseball. Because baseball really hasn't started yet. I mean, we could talk about like Chapman being suspended and stuff, but like
30 games.
Yeah, like
Just took it. He's like, all right, I'm taking it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like that's it. Like he just took it, so we're not gonna go into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got Roddy White being released. Came out of the blue. Shocker.
Come on, man. Come on.
Shocker.
We got extensions. Joe Flacco just made $40 million guaranteed.
That's a shocker.
What?
He's not elite, but his agent is.
Bruh. Really?
His agent's elite.
I need to hire his agent. Like, for real. Like,
or Sam Bradford's agent.
His agent, Chris Bosh's agent.
Yeah.
I need all those guys as agents because
no, I heard something that was like Sam Bradford went to a bar and paid $14 for Michelob Ultra because that was the only option.
Wow.
Whoa, don't disrespect Michelob Ultra like hey.
Because they're saying they overpaid him just because he was the only option.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, my God, that was awful. You should feel bad.
you say that, but you're laughing at it. So
he's laughing about how bad it was.
Point for Cup Check.
No, but keep tally. You're going to need to after something like that.
Yeah, but with that being said, I think it's going to be a good time. As you can tell already, it's going down. So first, we'll start with the greatest quarterback in the league, Johnny Manziel.
Alex, don't you ever lie like that again.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh my gosh. Sinning right off the bat.
I guess, right off the bat, we're going to go with another sin, a drinking problem. I guess more of a question is not does he have one, because that's pretty apparent at this point. But like what's going to happen? What's going to come of his drinking problem? Whoever wants to take the lead here, because we got like 17 people.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, what's I don't know what can come of it, because I feel like in the NFL is a talent league. So as long as people feel like you can play, you will always have a place in the league. But at some point, you run out you draw out your welcome. So at this point, it feels like Johnny Manziel is outstaying his welcome in the league, and he's kind of using up all his chances because you've already made yourself a commodity with all the clubbing, all the partying and stuff, and you and Mike Pettin already didn't have the best relationship, and now they have another video of you drinking at another club from a few days ago. So with that, and they've already said they're going to release you, and you're still out partying, and they're releasing you for that exact reason. And this domestic violence charges that are being filed against you that the police are looking into is also a reason that all culminates into this big Johnny Manziel scandal. So I feel at this point, like he just has issues, and he just needs to take a break. Like he just has to get out of the public eye, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the point of it.
Can I?
Yeah, you can go.
Grown man. I mean, he had a drinking problem. Yes, we understand that.
Had?
I mean, he had. But I mean, at the same time, he's a grown man. I mean, he's not like out killing people because he's drinking and driving, running people over, manslaughter like that. He's just getting in trouble with the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting in trouble with the law other than his domestic violence.
That's still a problem.
But I can't say that's from you can't completely say that's because you're drinking
But see, at what point do you say it's a stop? Because we're saying it's not a problem now, but then what if the drinking becomes a drinking and driving incident? See, this hasn't gotten there yet. But when you see red flags,
but you can make that case for anybody.
Yeah,
you can make that case for anybody drinking.
You can't.
So basically, you're in your eyes, we're going back to prohibition.
No, I'm not going back to prohibition. My thing is he checked himself into rehab, so it was obvious he knew he had a problem.
He continued to play in the league.
Yeah,
I don't think it's for himself. If you're going to you got a choice to go to community service or go to jail. Which one you doing?
I'm doing community
service.
service.
So it's like that. It's like, do you want to play in the league or you want to go work at Food Line?
Yeah, okay.
I'm playing league, so I'm checking myself in.
All right, but here's what I'm
Kurt
saying.
Warner was a bagger. Watch it. He was pretty good.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's not forget that
Ron's
some
hammered.
of the best, and this is my advantage over all of you, is that some of the best players in the NFL that ever played football were heavy alcoholics. Joe Montana was terrible with the booze. All right. If Joe Namath, everybody sits there and laughs at him every single time he's on TV. The guy's hammered all the time. He was the same way when he played for the Jets in the 60s. Yeah. Everybody now thinks that's funny. All right. So, like, I agree with what Sean's saying, and that's if we're going to start saying, okay, well, we're going to do this before it becomes a problem. I mean, you've got to let somebody make their own decision. If he hasn't gotten caught drinking and driving, if he hasn't had an alcohol-related incident that has led to any form of disciplinary action, then there's really nothing that you can do or worry about at this point until something bad happens. At this point, we're policing before we even need to do anything about it.
Okay.
The domestic violence issue. The domestic violence issue is a huge issue. I get it, but that's something that hasn't come to fruition yet. They haven't even decided they're going to indict him on anything yet. I think what will come with Johnny Manziel is he'll go to the Cowboys. He'll go to the Dallas's Islands of Misfit Toys. Jerry Jones will surround him with 13 security people like he did with Des Bryant, and he'll be the heir apparent to Tony Romo.
Look, I'd get a drinking problem too if I lived in Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Do you guys realize that Cleveland is the highest per capita sale of alcohol in the entire nation?
That's because LeBron left.
Right. Remember LeBron?
You've got the Browns, you've got the Cavs, and you've got booze. That's it. That's all you've got in Cleveland.
Yo, look, I've been to Cleveland, and the city shut down at 5 o'clock.
Damn,
like
bro.
that.
Come on, man. We're just taking shots at Cleveland. I mean,
this close out the streets because that way nobody can drink and drive.
Yeah, like Cleveland is a bad city, man. Like,
but hey,
Cleveland, you're just looking at you're really Cleveland, like.
Okay, Alex, you had something to say to his point about Johnny?
Well, no, I was just gonna say that I think alcohol probably was involved when he busted the girl's ear cap.
That was my
like
case.
eardrum.
Because they said alcohol was involved in the issue, that his alcohol toxicity level was higher than average in the incident.
But he had been driving, right?
Yeah.
Did he get arrested for drinking and driving?
No, he did not.
Why didn't he get arrested? Did you read why?
I have no idea.
See,
because he wasn't over the legal limit.
That's my thing, though. Johnny Manziel is at least smarter in the fact that he's never got a DUI when 90% of the league has a DUI.
Yeah, exactly.
So at least he's drinking responsibly, not responsibly, but he's not going out there and putting other people's lives in danger.
The guy knows how to use Uber.
He's just.
You see, here's the thing difference between Johnny Manziel, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, all those guys you listed. One, social media wasn't as big a factor when those guys are players, and two, they actually played on the field and showed their talent. Johnny hasn't showed it. They did let Manziel play, and he didn't show up.
But they're trying to bring it.
How well has he performed? Joe Montana performed? Joe Montana level?
Come on now.
That's how.
You gave him 3 games.
He did not play only 3 games.
He played 3 to 4 games.
Rashad, Johnny Manziel did not play only 3 or 4 games.
As a starter this past season, he played 3 or 4 games.
He played 4.
But I'm saying, but we seen the glimpses of Johnny Manziel that we're like, all right, we're gonna excuse him for this. The reason why players like you can say Greg Hardy or other players with issues get away with it, or they're given a little leeway, is because they have the talent. They show they have the talent. We haven't seen people. Johnny's living off of Johnny football right now. That's what he's living off. He's living off of Texas A&M. He hasn't done anything in the NFL that's led us to believe, oh, you're gonna be the same guy that you were at Amway Station. There's nothing that he's done for us to believe that he's gonna be that same guy.
Well, essentially, but that you're creating the double standard, though. You're saying that because he can't play Joe Montana, because he can't play Joe Namath, because he's not Greg Hardy and has all the talent, that it's okay for those guys, but it's not for him. Because
I'm not excusing for any of those. I'm not excusing for anybody. But my thing for Johnny is just the fact that if your coaches and everybody has already told you that they don't want you doing that, and that's what will legislate you playing, why would you continue doing something that your coaches are telling you that is technically keeping you from playing football? Because Mike Pettin was starting Johnny, and then he gets involved with the incident with the dashboard camera with his girlfriend and all that stuff, and then he benches him. So pretty much all the times with Johnny's been benched have been coincided with alcohol. So why at this point, why? And if your own father comes out and says my son won't live to see his 24th birthday, he has a problem. You know, and you don't need to be in the football league if your own father feels like you won't live to the age of 24.
And I mean, my thing is, so he had a concussion at the last game of the season. Turns out he was just super hungover the game before. Like, he was super hungover the night before. He came into practice, obviously hungover on something, coach said. So they gave him a concussion, and he didn't dress. I mean, if it's interfering with your job, that's where it's too far. Like, you're going out on your, I guess not weekends for him, obviously, because he's playing, but like he's going out on his free time and drinking and not driving and everything like that. I mean, that's fine. But if it's interfering with your job, like if you showed up to your job or you showed up to school just blackout, just hammered, that's just not acceptable in any facet of any job. So the fact that he got hammered the night before, showed up super hungover, probably still drunk, to a team meeting the night before or the day before a game, that's where the problem is, that it's interfering with his career, not his personal life, because his personal life is his own thing. Like you said on Kupchak, I mean, he could run around naked in his house if he wanted to. It doesn't matter. But like, so his personal life's fine, but when it's interfering with his job, that's where it's over the line.
Yeah,
and it has at this point.
Yeah, and that's my only thing with it, because I don't believe in that Skip Bayless nonsense about players shouldn't be out past 10 or whatever. You're a professional, you're a celebrity, you're a professional athlete. Technically, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna use the money that your contract gives you. But when your turn up it gets in the way of you getting wins and being productive on the field, I mean, your ownership is gonna feel some way, because you're allegedly, you're contractually agreed to try and perform at the best of your ability. And when you're taking yourself out of that equation by showing up to practices and games, or not showing up at all practically, some practices and some team meetings, or showing up hungover and not fully being able to learn the playbook. And then when people are saying, oh, well, Johnny hasn't had the chance to learn this, learn that. Well, some of that's on Johnny because he can't stop drinking.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So off of that, will he be on another NFL team? We'll go clockwise. So we'll start with Brendan.
Are you saying
next season?
Next season?
Yeah. Will he be on an NFL team?
Because so many teams. Well, honestly, I would say no, depending on how this domestic violence, whole case works out.
Yeah. So
if the domestic violence case works out and he ends up getting charged, I would say no. If he ends up being cleared, I feel like some team's gonna be like, hey, we can try and what's the word? Rehabilitate him. We can try and fix him. And a lot of teams are going to sign a guy because they need a quarterback. So if the domestic violence charges come down, then no. If not, then yeah.
Johnny Manziel will play another game in the league because he has too much talent to just throw away. He's not someone like a Jamarcus Russell where we've seen was a complete bust. Because we've seen Johnny Manziel can still play. It's just more so with the troubling that he might not be able to play. So Johnny Manziel will be playing another game because some team is going to want him. Some team is going to need a quarterback sometime, kind of how Tim Tebow was when everybody was like, oh, Tim Tebow won't play another game. But some team is going to eventually sign Johnny Manziel, and Johnny Manziel will get another chance to play in the league.
Ron?
Yeah, I have no doubt that he'll be on an NFL team, regardless of how the domestic violence thing pans out. Because even if that happens, I mean, at worst, he's going to be, suspended some games. I think the first one is 4?
Yeah, I think.
And so 4 or 6.
Yeah.
So even if that happens, I mean, if somebody can sign him for a league minimum deal on a guy who's only been in the league for his 4th year, right? This will be his 4th year.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they're able to sign the guy on a league minimum deal, I mean, anybody would take that to be their third quarterback if they think that they can rebuild him. I mean, it's worth the money. $600 to $800,000 a year on a 2-year deal. It's definitely worth the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he comes out there and he slays it, then he's worth a lot more. I mean, we've seen a lot of players go through something like this. A lot of players, and one that always kind of comes to mind for me is Cedric Benson. when he left the Bears after getting in trouble for like his 5th DUI in 2 years. He bounced around for a little bit before he landed with the Bengals, and he ended up being the Bengals bell cow for like 3 straight seasons. And then he just, he wanted too much money. And we've seen plenty of players go off and be productive long after, a bad string of incidents. And I think this will be the case.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think he plays another game despite the dispute, even if it goes through, because we've seen the Cowboys take somebody that beats the crap out of their girlfriend. They got that good track record.
Why are you always trying to disrespect the Cowboys?
Look, okay, so background why he's upset right now. He said, man, I'm going to talk about how Amazon sent me a puzzle with only 499 pieces. And I was like, what are you talking about? He shows me a picture, and it's a Cowboys puzzle. So it's missing one piece, and you can see it. And I said, well, that's because the Cowboys always come up short. And he got really upset about it. So now anytime I talk about the Cowboys, he's over there upset.
It's because you're trying to disrespect the greatest team in the league.
Oh, well, how many Super Bowls they got?
5.
How many the Steelers got? 6.
Oh, man.
But no, I mean, he'll play another game.
How long have you been a Steelers fan?
Since I was born.
Okay. I'm ready for the bandwagon.
Okay.
I was ready. I'm about to hit you the board.
I mean, I feel at this point, like the Steelers aren't the bandwagon team anymore. It's like Seattle, Carolina, Broncos.
You can still have one because they got 6.
Green Bay,
So
I guess.
Still do.
I don't know. Well, we know Ron's not with the Bears. Style Bears. But no, I mean, I think he'll end up on another team. I don't know if he's as talented as you guys make him sound. You guys are making him sound like he's the next like Drew Brees.
No, I don't think he's the next Drew Brees. I don't think he's even.
Drew Brees.
I mean, but
he's even the next Phillip Rivers.
He's short.
Wait, what?
He's short.
You can't compare him to Drew Brees.
Oh, I thought you said he's the next heir apparent. I was like, wait.
I mean, he's not that fast. I mean, he's quick, but he's not that fast.
He's faster than most quarterbacks in the
Yeah,
league.
that's true.
I don't know.
He's
He
a
ran
lot faster.
he ran a slower 40 time than
40
Andrew
doesn't
Luck.
mean crap.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's a straight
nobody
shot.
believes in 40, dude.
Yeah, 40 times are nice.
What?
Now,
How many
Chris
people?
Johnson's
Yeah, how many
going
people's draft stock went up in this draft because of the 40?
I
We'll
get draft stock and all
we'll
that.
get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to
That's-
that.
That's a completely different story, and we're gonna get to why I hate the combine later.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that when 40 time almost never translates into success. Very, very rarely does it translate into success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Darius Hayward-Bay is doing what? Playing 4th string wide receiver on a Colts or on a Steelers football team.
Yeah.
Well, the receiving core is dirty.
And then you have Chris Johnson right now, who's what, a second string?
No, he was starting until he got hurt.
Right, but I mean, why was he starting? Because
Yes,
of the right.
Wait,
Because
you said Andre Ellington?
Yeah, because Ellington got hurt.
Oh.
So
but if you think about it, Chris Johnson did that with no line on the Titans with no line. So I mean, obviously, when you have no line, you're not gonna run for 2,000 yards every season. So you're gonna get destroyed back there, and you're gonna look unproductive.
Right, a 40 time translate into short term success.
I don't know.
The Honey Badger.
What's it?
The Honey Badger. His 40 time was like that.
There's a lot. There are exceptions. Russell Wilson's an exception to every single quarterbacking rule out there.
You're right.
I mean, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Is that you can't exclusively say 40 time is the reason his 40 time was great. Great. It's what you look for in a quarterback is what is his instinctive quickness. The reason Aaron Rodgers looks so much faster than everybody else is not because he has speed. I mean, the guy ran a 5.13 40. I mean, the guy was awful at the combine.
Can you run that?
Can I run a 5.13?
I think you can.
I could run in 5 seconds easily.
I think you could.
All right, so
and I have a limp.
I got a quick question, man. Since you're saying basically saying 40 don't matter, if the kickoff rule never changed where it wasn't pushed up, Devin Hester's still the most valuable player in the league.
Most valuable player in the come on now. Most valuable player in the league.
I wouldn't
not as MVP, but as for a team, like that's the most valuable piece of your team. Devin Hester is a kick returner.
No.
Devin
As a Bears fan,
Devin never was the reason that team went to the Super Bowl.
No.
I thought we hung on to him way too long as it was.
No, as a kickoff as it was, Devin Hester was the reason y'all had a chance in the Super Bowl.
From 2005 to 2007, Devin Hester was one of the most dangerous players in the NFL.
Which is the most valuable player y'all had
once
for
again
y'all.
confirms my 40 time translate into short-term success.
They changed the rule.
You didn't let me get to the
Oh, yeah.
his 40 time wasn't great, which then we hopped on that and didn't let me finish. He's short, his arm strength is average, and he has too many off the field problems to make me like want to go, oh, he's got talent. His off the field doesn't outweigh his on the field.
So what does off the field got to do with you playing on the field?
Right.
No, but I'm saying if you
What
give
does that
me a
have to do
guy,
with your talent
if you
level?
give me a guy that has the same amount of talent, I'm taking the one with off the field without off the field problems. So Manziel's an average quarterback at best. At best, he's an average quarterback. And then you give me off the field problems, I'm taking RG3. If you give me the option right now, are you taking RG3 or Johnny Manziel?
I have to take RG3 because I've seen what RG3 when he's healthy, and right now he's pretty much healthy.
And he has no off the field problems.
That's not why I'm choosing him.
Yeah, but he has a lot of in the head problems.
Well,
so.
yeah, I mean, and ankle problems.
Johnny has talent. I mean, you're not a Heisman winner for no reason.
Essentially, what you described though was Russell Wilson minus the off the field.
That's honestly
because up until this year, that was Russell Wilson until the back half of this year when he didn't have Marshawn Lynch. That was Russell Wilson every year up until then. He was an average arm, misfired on a lot of throws. He is short. He was quick from the snap. And let's be honest, the Browns put him into a system Browns put Johnny Manziel into a system he can't even play in.
Well, Browns put everybody in a system they can't play in.
Right, which is why I think that they shouldn't be allowed to have draft picks anymore. All right, because they just ruin people when they get there. Like they should just be the place that they send all the old players to when they're done. Like they just become they're just a nursing home. That's it.
The Browns nursing
the Cleveland nursing home for NFL players.
Yeah,
because you can't use the Browns as a judge of how successful a player can be.
So you think
just like you can't a handful of teams are the same way.
Okay, hold on. Quick question. I'll let you get to it, Brendan.
Okay.
So you think Johnny Manziel would do just as good as Russell Wilson on the Seahawks?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
really?
I do.
He has a line, he has a receiver weapons,
he has a running back,
and he has a defense. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Man.
Look at Brock Osweiler.
I think
look at Brock Osweiler.
He's like 6'4".
Look what he did.
Yeah,
Look at Brock Osweiler.
You think about the kind of coach. You think about the kind of coach that the Seahawks have.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Carroll, a former college, very successful college coach,
USC,
knows how to handle players like that. If he didn't, he wouldn't be nearly successful. You got to remember they went to a Super Bowl with one of the youngest teams ever in the NFL. How you corral all that? Being a really good coach who knows how to talk to young guys.
But here's my thing about what you said about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson hasn't been an average quarterback throughout any of his years in the league. He's had a passer rating of over 100 for each of the seasons, except for his season last year, in which they went to the Super Bowl. So I don't understand the comparison between him and Johnny when he's had a passer rating of over 100 each season, and he's ran the Seahawks.
But you have to look at what he's had around him.
Yeah, he's had great players around him. Yes, but I mean, we can't. I just don't see, because I haven't seen the accuracy from Johnny Manziel that Russell Wilson has displayed, and I haven't seen the wherewithal with Johnny Manziel. I mean, granted, like you said, everything in Cleveland is crap. Everything in Cleveland, for some reason,
you have to
doesn't
look
work
at
out.
it this way: put Russell Wilson in Cleveland for the last 3 years. Is Russell Wilson even nearly the quarterback he is right now in Cleveland for the last 3 years?
I wouldn't say he's going to be as good as the quarterback, but he wouldn't be as bad as Johnny. That's my case. He wouldn't be as bad as Johnny.
Is Russell Wilson's got more in the head.
He does.
His mental game is so much better.
What I'm saying is statistically and successful-wise with the team, Johnny Manziel could be just as successful with the team that Russell Wilson has as Russell Wilson is.
But Johnny hasn't given us any indication.
I'm going to exclude last year, because last year Russell Wilson took another step in his career, like in being a leader and everything. That I'm not going to say that they would have with Johnny Manziel, they would have been in the Super Bowl this last year, because I don't think that would have been the case. Russell Wilson showed that all the critics something different. Yeah. But up until that point, I think that Johnny Manziel could have had just as much success as Russell Wilson up until 2013.
See, I don't agree with that at all, because I mean, Russell Wilson's like, how old is Russell Wilson even? He's like he was a way older rookie than RG.
Yeah, I think he was 26 when he was drafted or something.
Yeah,
because he went to baseball first, right?
Yeah, he went to baseball. And Russell Wilson, I mean, he like Alex said, he has that wherewithal up here and stuff. He's actually been in the film room. He's studying film all the time with his teammates and with the Legion of Boom, with all the other guys. And then Marshawn Lynch was a staple of that team. But even in the beginning, half, like you said, of this season when Marshawn Lynch was there, until Marshawn Lynch essentially kind of moved out and Jimmy Graham got hurt. Because he only had one game with Jimmy Graham where they really clicked. Then after Jimmy Graham was hurt, after that, Russell Wilson went off. And you could argue that the pieces around him weren't all that great around him once Jimmy Graham and Marshawn Lynch were both out. And what's his name? Thomas Rawls. Thomas Rawls went out too, and he was still playing at a high level. Yeah, he did have Tyler Lockett And yeah, it's Tyler
Doug
Lockett.
Baldwin.
Yeah, and Doug Baldwin. But those guys aren't top tier receivers. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to say that those are like the top of the line guys that he's playing with, sure, that's great and all. But in your defense, he does have the Legion of Boom. This isn't the same Legion of Boom we've seen in the past few seasons that took them to the Super Bowl. So even with the argument of if you put Johnny Manziel in Seattle, I don't think Johnny is as productive as Russell in Seattle.
I think with the system that they run, with the read option system,
and I definitely think Russell is more durable than Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, there's
also in the same breath.
I agree with all that. I'm not saying that if you put Russell Wilson in Cleveland for the last few years, yes, he would have been more successful than Johnny Manziel has been thus far. But Johnny Manziel, like we've already said, hasn't played even remotely close to what Russell Wilson's played, experience-wise. And if you put Johnny Manziel in a situation where Pete Carroll's the coach, in a situation where they actually have leadership in a locker room there, where an owner doesn't meddle in everything, where a GM is nothing more than a puppet, where a place other than Cleveland, where everybody hates to be and play. The only reason they are able to lock down Joe Thomas is because they just throw cash at the guy every single day. Like he walks in and they just have a fan that blows cash at him. That's the only way they're able to keep players. That's it.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question? Because you said a locker room where the owner doesn't meddle in everything, right?
Right. I'm talking about Seattle.
So what about Dallas? If we saw him going to Dallas Jerry Jones is a situation.
He's also the general manager.
Yeah, he's affiliated with everything in the team.
Yes, he is, because he's the general manager as well.
No, but I'm saying, you're talking about in Cleveland, that was a situation that if he doesn't have a owner that's involved in everything and a head coach is just a puppet, and he actually has leadership. Well, Jerry Jones is the meddler and everything.
Jones handles those types of people differently. We've seen that.
Yeah, we
see that what he does with what he did with Des Bryant. We all saw where Des Bryant was headed, and we saw what he did. He assigned, and Jerry Jones will spend the money to do it.
Definitely.
Haslam will not. So if Jerry Jones goes, okay, you want to have problems? Here's a 15-man security detail that is literally going to walk around you in a circle, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere. You're not going to be able to buy your fruit by the foot without going with these guys. I mean, that's it.
I can see it now. He's walking through the grocery store. Is that Johnny Manziel? I don't know. He's too short. I can't see around the body.
Exactly. That's true.
Where is he?
Guys.
You just see a hand stick out. I want those for roll-ups.
There's a few different ways you can attack a player like Johnny Manziel. You can either give him the I'm going to babysit you to death treatment, or you can give him the I'm the coach. I know how to handle this type of player. I'm going to turn this player around like Pete Carroll could do. Those are two types of approaches that they could take. That's for him. I think those are the only two approaches you could really take with him, unless you're going to go Bill Belichick style and just beat the guy into the ground. I mean, you could always do that too, but
it's worked for Bill.
Right, it has. I mean, we've seen him get 200% out of players that have no business being as good as they are.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think that there's any way that he's not on a football team next year, and I don't think he's even remotely as bad as everybody thinks he is, because you can't use the Browns as an assessment for how good a player actually is.
That's like the 76ers of the NFL. It's honestly what it is.
Man.
But each team on the 76ers team and their careers go down.
Man, that's a whole situation itself,
we spent way too much time on Johnny. Look, we spent way too much time on a guy that's not even starting. Anyway, now a guy that did start for a little bit. Ron's over there like doing handiwork. He's doing and stuff. I don't know what's going on there. All right, just a yes or no answer, and then we'll dive deeper into it. Should Peyton Manning retire? Brendan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm gonna be the oddball and say no.
Oh, you're crazy.
Here's the reason why. No, here's the reason why. Okay. You have him play 8 games, half a season. Okay. The defense is like the exact same. They franchise tag Von Miller. The defense is almost the exact same. The whole team's pretty much the exact same at this point. So you got a guy who is pretty much a clock manager for the majority of the season. So you just play him 8 games. You have Osweiler learn behind him and get experience, because you have no idea what Osweiler can do right now. To give Osweiler like starting quarterback money would be a little absurd, because you don't know what you have in him. So you pay Osweiler, be like, you're going to be the backup and split time with Manning. You give Manning a 1-year deal. If he dies on the field, well, you got Osweiler to back him up. It's his fault for coming back. You just give him a 1-year deal where it's not that much money, because he's got enough Budweiser factories and Papa John's to pay for it.
He's actually not sponsored by Budweiser.
But he has distilleries and stuff that he owns up and
Budweiser?
yeah. That's why he said it. Yeah.
So why does he?
I don't know. But like, so that, with that being said, like he comes back, he plays 8 games, and then he just manages the game in the playoffs, and they could be right there again, because I don't think anybody would sit here and be like, he did well in the playoffs.
No.
I mean, he did terrible in the playoffs. So you're telling me he just sits back there, hands the ball off 3 times, takes 2 shots downfield all game, and throws the ball a total of 15 times, 8 games. He can manage that. And if the guy really doesn't want to retire, even though this would be the perfect scenario for him to retire, it's not that absurd. Like, just sign him for a 1-year deal, have him play half a season, whether you want to play him 8 and then off 8, or you want to stagger it where like he plays and he takes a week off, then he plays, whatever you want to do. But I think it could work because it's Peyton Manning, and they kind of did that last year.
You want
Yeah, go ahead, Rashad.
So here's the deal with this little staggered start thing that your idea.
I wrote that down too.
This-
I wrote that down.
There's this staggered start thing. That's the worst idea an NFL team could do.
He said that's so.
You gonna play?
You last year.
No, I mean,
That's the worst.
no. Think about it. Okay, so right now you think Osweiler's going to lead them to the playoffs?
So you're telling me
That's not what he's
you're
saying.
gonna put Osweiler in the game for 1 game. He
Yeah.
gets hot, and then next thing you put Peyton Manning.
No, I'm
watch
saying-
it, and you're like, well,
No,
next game
Osweiler.
to come out.
No,
interceptions.
Osweiler gets hot, then play Osweiler. I'm saying you have both options.
What if Peyton Manning gets hot? You basically don't.
Then
what
you
you're
play
saying
Peyton
is
Manning.
you don't want Peyton Manning playing more than 1 game in a row.
No, I'm saying you can play him 8 games in a row. I'm not saying there's a limit on it, but I'm just saying you could do like a pitching limit. If Manning gets super hot and has a career
Ain't
year,
no pitcher limit in
play-
the NFL. The same baseball.
no, it's not, but it's something that Manning should have if he's going to come back. I'm saying if he gets hot and can play 16 games at a high level, do it. Obviously, it'd be dumb not to. But if he like starts struggling, you put in Osweiler and see what Osweiler has. Because right now, Osweiler is not a guy that's going to lead your team to the playoffs, but I think Manning will, because he's not going to turn the ball over.
We're going back to the Browns thing then, where the quarterbacks were scrubbing, so you bring in another one, and they start scrubbing, you go back to the starter. That's what it sounds like. That's an awful idea. If Peyton Manning, I don't think he should come back. He's won a Super Bowl. That's when you retire. You pull a Ray Lewis, even though he did it in the passenger seat. You take it and leave. You have enough money, so there's no point of you going back for money. You love the game, just watch it. Play Madden or something.
You mind if I?
Go ahead.
See, here's the only thing with that, because I feel as though if you bring, I feel like this whole victory run for them was to get Peyton Manning off the books. Like this whole time, Denver's been John Elway's kind of been trying to not, forcibly be like, hey, we're getting rid of Peyton, but he's been kind of trying to just, oh, we're going with the flow of things. That's what I feel like, and it was a blessing in disguise when Peyton sat out with his plantar fascia so that they saw what they had with Brock. And then they essentially were like, okay, well, we can evaluate how good Brock is right now. And then when Brock wasn't playing well coming towards the end of the season, they're like, all right, Peyton, get back out there and just do what you can to not turn the ball over. But I feel as though on the season, the man had 9 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. So obviously the whole not turn the ball over thing wasn't exactly working for him. Granted, he was hurt for part of that, but the man still threw the interceptions at the end of the day. So I feel as though if we're talking about whether you should instill, because I feel like if you're going to bring Peyton back, there's no, because then if you're playing kind of hot potato with your quarterbacks, how does that let any quarterback really build a rhythm? If one starts playing bad or one plays really good, but then you're hurting the other one's confidence, like it's kind of like you have a short core with them then at that point. Because if you're just yanking one when he starts playing bad, then how does that build continuity and consistency?
That's Cleveland football, man. I'm telling you that Cleveland football.
When has a 2-quarterback system worked in the NFL?
When have you had this type of situation where you have a guy who can still lead your team pretty far?
Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith.
Yeah, that one you had.
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's the one?
Yeah, but they kick. So then they need to kick out
Michael
Rodgers.
Vick and Nick Foles.
Yeah.
They need to hold on. Well, they did like
Or
Brett
Michael Vick
Favre
and
did.
Kevin Call.
Yeah.
The Packers did. Then the Broncos need to take a stand.
What do you mean?
The Broncos need to say, okay, he's gone. The Broncos are sitting there just like, oh. We'll
Because
see
think
what
about it, you push
They're
out
not
a
going to bring him
legend.
back, dude.
No,
They're
you-
going to wait for him. If he says, yeah, I want to come back, the Broncos will not keep him. They will let him go.
Then why haven't they made that apparent right now? Why haven't they? That would
Because
make
you
it
can
just
see, you can
so
see
much
it as a
easier.
villain. Because
Right.
he's a legend.
Do
You
you
know, that's
remember-
Peyton Manning. You can't push out Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
Green Bay did it
No.
to a legend. They did.
Right, they did. And what was Green Bay? What was Green Bay for years?
They were
the bad guy.
Yeah,
They were
seen
the
as
bad guy. They were looked at. There was one side of the fence and there was the other. There was the side of the fence. There was no gray area with that. There was the side of the fence that the Packers screwed Brett Favre, and there was the side of the fence that said Brett Favre was screwing the Packers.
Yeah,
there was, and all it was
especially
was
when he signed with the Vikings.
Was that Brett Favre didn't want to do mini camps. That was it. He didn't want to train in the offseason. That was he just wanted to sit at home and sit in his tree stand and shoot deer in Mississippi all day. That's all he wanted to do.
I mean, even an example of it right now is DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray and the Cowboys. Some people ridicule the Cowboys for not paying DeMarco Murray the money that they feel as though he was entitled to. I mean, he was the rushing leader of the season, but he was asking for too much money as a running back, so they let him go. But I mean, even though he said he was willing to settle on 15 to 60 million, but that's neither here or there. But some people view the Cowboys as the villain. Some people view DeMarco Murray as the guy, like, how are you going to lead to go to the Eagles? You know, that they're the inter-division rival.
Yeah, but my thing is, so right now everybody thinks Manning's done.
Yes.
So why are they the villain for giving them that extra step?
Because if they are the ones that say, we're not going to bring Peyton Manning back, even if he retires, you are the bad guy. Do you want to?
Why?
Look at what happened with the Colts. When Peyton Manning, there was a possibility Peyton Manning would never play football again. The Colts were being told by doctors there was no way that Peyton Manning would play football again. And they came out and said, okay, we're going to draft Andrew Luck. And when they said that, that was saying, we're not bringing back Peyton Manning.
Right.
And the Colts were villainized for it.
They weren't.
The Colts were, yes, they were too.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were too.
No.
I did hear some. I especially heard it on. I heard Skip Bayless especially say it because Skip Bayless was like, "How do you let go of somebody that could lit?" Because I think it was like the next season he took Denver to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
So they were like, "How are you gonna let him go for a rookie quarterback?" But then I also understood why they did it. But people were saying, "How you?" Because he was Indianapolis.
He had great numbers that year too.
Yeah, that was the 55 touchdown year.
They were
he also had a different team though.
The next Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he did.
They were in the position to get the next Peyton Manning, and they took it. That was smart.
Yeah,
it was a smart thing to do. Do you want to know why Curtis Painter started every game that year? That they went 2-14 because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning stood on the sideline and watched his team lose.
Okay.
For 14 games.
I don't know where you're going with this.
It was because they knew. They made him stand there and watch them lose.
Yeah.
People talking about how Peyton Manning was supposed to be the MVP that year, and he didn't play a single game.
Yeah. I don't get what you're getting at with this.
They made the Colts the bad guy. When he left, everybody talked about how Jim Irsay was a drunk and a drug addict. How could he possibly make this decision? And he is. I get it. Jim Irsay has lots of money. Let the man party. Whatever he wants to do.
With Johnny Manziel.
With Johnny Manziel. I don't give a crap. All right? That would probably be the worst place for Johnny Manziel to go.
Johnny to the Colts. I mean, Johnny to the Colts.
What I'm saying is that you can't in this event, in this particular scenario, they have to be the ones that let Peyton Manning make the decision.
So, but regardless, they're going to be the bad guy. Well, okay.
No, they won't.
No, but if he's like, I'm coming back, they're not. You just said they're not.
Then you can be the bad guy. Then you can. Yeah.
Why can't you be now? Just make your decision right now. Because I honestly think if they go, we're not bringing you back, he retires.
Because all that's already happened.
I don't think it has.
All that's already happened.
You can't be the bad guy when you're the defending Super Bowl champion.
You can't. Yeah,
you can.
You can't.
Everybody hates the team that just won the Super Bowl.
You can't come out and say, "Hey, quarterback that took us through the playoffs, we're not going to bring you back."
Everybody hated Seattle when they won the Super Bowl.
Did everybody hate the Patriots?
Yeah.
No, only people that really had something against the Patriots. Everybody that believed in Deflategate hated the Patriots. Everybody that hated Deflate. There were big people that wanted Seattle to lose. Remember?
Yeah, but that's because they were defending champs.
No, you're talking about Deflategate?
No, I'm talking about last year.
With Seattle, when people that wanted Seattle to lose?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but even when the Patriots won, there weren't a lot of people that only the people that were like, only people that have had like Patriot resentment all their lives and were like, oh, Spygate happened and affected my team. So now Deflategate definitely happened. And so I can't believe the Patriots are winning. So that's what I feel as though that's how people perceive the Patriots.
Oh my God, they're giggling over there like little kids. All right, well, yeah. Ron wants to know, how is he alive?
That's true. I do want to know.
How is Manning still alive? Oh my God.
I mean, that does. I'm bewildered by that.
I mean,
by how he's alive.
If you think about it,
you thought he was going to die in the field for the Super Bowl.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way for Peyton Manning to go out than to die on the field in battle, battling.
Oh.
He said he was going to come out and kick the game-winning field goal to win it, and
I did say that, too.
kick his leg off. He
Come
said he's
on,
going to kick
man.
his leg off.
Go out. His leg would follow him through the goalpost.
Come on, man. Come on, Peyton ain't that old, man. Peyton,
I told him that like Peyton Manning, if he's not dead by the third quarter, should just like start returning kicks,
come on,
passing the
come
ball to
on.
himself.
No, wait.
Oh my God.
You said Peyton Manning's not that old, but it's known right now he's going to need hip surgery in the next 5 years.
Hey, look,
I would
Tom
you know
Brady's
what?
just as old.
I would
No,
like
Tom
to-
Brady's playing until he's 45.
Hey, but I'm saying Tom Brady's just
Tom
as
Brady's
old.
been protected.
Has he?
Yeah.
Wait, no, maybe not this season. This is
Yeah.
the first season I've ever seen
I'm
Tom
just
Brady
saying-
on his back frustrated.
No.
All right?
No. The straight hand.
And I've watched that
straight
for a
hand,
long time.
That straight hand Super Bowl.
That
With the
straight hand Super Bowl.
Giants.
He was on the
Right,
ground all
for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was it.
And in 08,
They went
he was
16-0 that year.
He was on his he was on his couch all of 08.
What's
Remember?
Yeah, I know.
Against Kansas City when they got to him.
What?
The one
Somebody
and
got
that's
to
the one that
him.
counted. That's the one time it counted.
cares?
That's Matt Castle. That's his career has
Hey.
lived on.
I would like to see Brett Favre and Peyton Manning play a game against each other.
Brett Favre.
Yeah, I just
hear Brett Favre.
I would like to see Brett Favre get.
Brett Favre.
I want to see him play chess versus each other, like backgammon or some old game.
Brain
Spades.
Shuffleboard. Just watch him out there
Spades.
going great.
Both their IQs, like using moves you never seen before. Like
Right.
what?
Both of them wearing Wranglers. Everything. You know what I'm saying?
Eating
Drinking-
Papa John's.
drinking Budweiser.
Drinking Budweiser.
No, damn well, one of them don't been drinking.
Man, he was trying to get paid by Budweiser after that Super
He
Bowl.
was.
Well,
This man kissed the Papa John's. I can't even.
before he had his hat on.
Yeah.
He won the Super Bowl. He didn't even have his hat on yet, and Papa John's is giving him a big kiss.
Would you kiss a man on the cheek that makes you $40 million in a year?
Not before I put the hat on.
Not before the hat. The hat got to go on first.
Look, let me celebrate the fact, like, put on the hat and be like, I'm about to eat a lot of Papa John's. Where's Papa at? Like,
Yeah.
let me do that.
He didn't even say the Disney World thing. You know the funny thing
No,
is,
like,
he didn't even say the
I'm not
Disney
going to
World thing.
Disney World. I'm going to.
He's too old for that shit.
Hey man, you're never too old for Disney World. Oh.
Oh my God.
This guy.
Well, we're moving on. We're moving on. Oh my God. Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Okay.
Go.
Oh,
Another quarterback.
oh,
Kirk
God.
Cousins. How much is he worth? And let's not say what Ron said.
Not at all. Can't.
Yeah, don't repeat what I put on here.
No FCC Airways, guys. Man.
How much is he actually worth?
How much is he worth?
He is worth
How much would you pay him?
a franchise tag.
20 mil or
No.
19.6 or
He's
whatever?
not
That's
worth
the
the
best-
top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
No, he's not.
No.
But-
So why you gonna pay him that money with a franchise?
Because it's the
tag?
smartest thing to do.
I mean, you don't want something. Man,
It's the smartest thing to do. You give him the Joe Flacco treatment, and if he
But
if he comes out and he plays
but
lights
look
out,
what happened with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco
Right,
got paid
I know.
$100 million for no reason.
Joe Flacco is the most
And they
overrated
got
quarterback
extension.
ever in the history of the game.
Elite.
Come on,
Elite agent.
No,
But we'll
I'm
talk about that in a minute. But anyway, you pay him the franchise tag. Yes, you're going to spend a lot of money this year to save a lot of money for the next 5, because there's no way he's a top 5 quarterback, and he's going to show that on that franchise tag when he throws 30 interceptions this year, because his schedule is not going to be what it was this year.
So what if he comes out and has like that Nick Foles year when Nick Foles became that starter out of nowhere with the 7 touchdown interceptions type? What if
Well,
a
they
year,
don't have a
year like
decision to
that?
make, and that's
so
a
then,
tough thing to do.
so then you think he has one good year on his franchise tag? You're gonna pay him $100 million like you
You
did
pay-
Joe Flacco.
How much money would
That's
you
the
pay Doug
biggest
Martin
mistake.
right now?
Doug Martin, I wouldn't. Doug Martin's not a top running back in the league no more,
Right, but he just had a career year.
and he started off sluggish, completely sluggish.
My thing with him is I let him walk. If he's not going to take the long-term contract for like 12 million, because that's about what he's worth, 12 to 15 million, I let him walk, because you know where he's going to end up? Cleveland. I'd be like, pack your bags, see ya, Cleveland.
I mean, honestly, that's what I would.
He's
threaten.
not-
I would threaten that with every single player that wanted to hold out on
yeah,
contract.
no, it's
Man, y'all are
it's-
just coming for Cleveland.
no,
right now,
but my
man.
thing is, he is not, like we just said, he's not a top 5 quarterback. I don't even think he's a good quarterback.
He had the highest completion percentage of any
No,
quarterback.
no.
Yeah,
he
he
played
hold on,
very
but
well
he
this year.
but he also played versus sub 500 teams. He didn't have a win against
That's
a
true.
sub 500 team, and he went 1-1 touchdown to interceptions above 500.
That's true.
He only played well at home against sub 500 teams. I think Ron could do that.
Come on.
I think Ron could hand the ball off to
No,
Alfred Morris and throw to
no,
San.
come
but
on.
They don't even got Santana Moss anymore, I don't think. But
Nah.
like,
Well,
Actually,
he's like
still
on the
there.
end of
He's
the
still there. He
bench.
got ejected from a game this year.
Yeah,
but like just my thing is he's not worth the 19.6. I think
No.
the franchise tag is.
He's not really worth it.
And the thing is, he's probably going to have an all right year, and the Redskins, being the Redskins, aren't going to draft a quarterback or look at their options and be stuck having to pay him some ungodly amount like Joe Flacco, and he becomes Joe Flacco 2.0, where Redskins fans are like, he's elite. Did you see what he did? Did you see his completion stats? They use that. He's elite, and he's average at best. He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Flacco got lucky with that. The defense carried him there. He's like Trent Dilford. I mean, it's just they're not.
Hold on a second. Joe Flacco's playoff runs are amazing. He plays amazing in the playoffs.
Defense, though.
He gets. This is what Joe Flacco. He pulls the Eli Manning. He gets to the postseason, and then he plays amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what happens with Joe Flacco. That's the story of the tape.
But Cousins is just like that, like an average player.
I'm not an average player.
I can't, man. You have a lot more people you go to franchise tag other than Kirk Cousins.
Well, maybe not the Redskins.
Are you going to take any of the quarterbacks right now that are coming in the draft in the first or the second round and start them on an NFL football team?
You can start Colt McCoy instead of him and let him walk. Like, don't give him $19 million for a year that was mediocre at best because half the the NFC East was hurt.
I mean,
they shouldn't even made the playoffs. So why are you paying him a franchise tag amount of money for an NFC East that was struggling? That team wouldn't have been in it anyway, and he would have been gone anyway.
They should just this is what I think they should do with the franchise tag. They use it and immediately trade him, or like wait till he's getting hot, boom, gone. Give me some draft picks, because I can draft a new quarterback. I don't need Kirk Cousins because he's shown to me he's had a pretty big sample size, and I've seen he's average. Yeah, he's getting better, but I can trade him to a team that wants a quarterback for probably a lot of stuff. Like, I think the Rams right now would give up quite a bit for Kirk Cousins.
Let's see.
Let me say something real quick. But if he shows that he's hot, why would you get rid of him if he's living up to the money? I don't understand that. Why would you trade away the player?
He's a liability. You can't.
But any player's a liability. No. Tom Brady's a liability right now. He's old age.
Come on, you're right for his old age.
But that's what I'm saying. But why would you get rid of him if he's playing up to the contract?
You trade him because then he's gonna command more, and I don't think he's worth that more.
But I'm saying if he lives up to the contract and he becomes that valuable asset, he can become that quarterback. Why would you trade him away and get draft picks for players that aren't even proven yet?
Because he's not. We've seen a big enough sample to where I don't think anybody here is going to say he's going to lead them to a Super Bowl. He's not a quarterback to lead them to a Super Bowl.
No, I wouldn't say he leads them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So he's hot. You can get a first round and a third round pick right there. You can build your team off of something. You can get more pieces. The Redskins need a lot of pieces.
They do.
So I mean, Kirk Cousins will be there for a while, but if they have to pay him an astronomical amount, they have less to put around him. And then by the end of his contract, he's going to look average. He's going to look below average because he has no weapons, no defense. And it's Kirk Cousins out there trying to prove something. I think he was riding off the high of finally being named the starter. And that's why he had a pretty good year. But I just think next year he plays all right for a little while. And then he commands, he's like, well, you gave me $19.5 million last year. I'll just take that again for 4 years.
If RG3 comes to start next season, RG3 will have a better season than Kirk Cousins will. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If he stays healthy, I totally agree. I think he's the better quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is not worth $19 million if he's get hot. What kind of quarterback can get in the second round? Because nobody's gonna give up a first round pick for Kirk Cousins. And if they do, that team just don't win.
I don't know. I think if Kirk Cousins is hot,
Redskins give up everybody for the RG3.
Okay, so if you think about the teams who's going to need a quarterback,
the Browns, the Rams,
they're about to get a quarterback.
The
Rams, Rams maybe not.
The Rams,
Texans
need. I think the Texans are going for Hack, but I think Cleveland's not going to get a quarterback. He's just going to be another name on the jersey.
So you don't think this quarterback whoever they get is going to be?
I don't think they have enough talent around him to make any quarterback good, and they're immediately wanting to jump off quarterbacks.
So why would they? Okay, if they understand, okay, obviously,
well, they don't understand.
I mean, if you understand they need other talent other than a quarterback, I'm sure somebody in the organization understands as well that they need something other than a quarterback. So why would they trade their first round pick to bring in pieces for who they're about to draft?
No, I'm talking about like next year.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If they draft a quarterback this year, right, and they trade for Kirk Cousins and give up their first round pick, why wouldn't they use their first round pick to build pieces around it? I just don't see nobody giving up a first round pick because that's really the only team I see really wanting a quarterback that bad to give up their first round pick for Kirk Cousins.
Which team?
The Browns.
I think the Rams would.
I don't think the Rams will.
I think the Rams are pretty desperate to where they want a quarterback because obviously what Nick Foles isn't their guy.
Colin Kaepernick is a free agent now.
No, he's not.
Well, he's about to be. He has to be released.
He has to be traded. Yeah.
Yeah, but they won't do it.
But
I don't
he's
think
still got a
they'll.
year left.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I don't think Kaepernick's that good either. I think Kaepernick's better than most options out there. But
there is no options out there, honestly,
Yeah.
right now in the free agency this year.
I honestly think a lot of this quarterback talk depends on where RG3 decides to end up going. Because if he ends up going to the Rams, to Cleveland, if he wants to go to Cleveland,
Texans.
if he ends up going to the Texans, all these scenarios all depend on where RG3 decides to go, and at whatever price he decides, whatever team decides to pay him. Because somebody's going to overpay for a quarterback, like you said, it might be the Rams because the Rams have been the Rams are held back this season just because of their quarterback position and the whole Nick Foles experiment not working out. So I definitely can see this whole thing just depending on I don't think that I honestly I don't know what team I could honestly believe trading, like Rashad was saying, trading a first round like draft pick for Kirk Cousins. I just can't, even if he gets hot, what other teams are seeing, why wouldn't the Redskins see? Like why would the other teams be like, hey, I'm gonna ship away these draft picks for him? Because the other teams obviously are seeing something in him that they're like, hey, we can bring him in, he can be our quarterback. Why wouldn't the Redskins see that? Because then once the Redskins trade him away, you get all them draft picks. Who's your quarterback?
What quarterback's coming out next year?
Yeah, who's your quarterback now?
I have to look at the list.
There's really no premier quarterbacks coming out next year.
That's the thing, because if you give away all them draft picks and you give away Kirk Cousins, you have draft picks now. You're in the same situation the Rams are in. You have all these draft picks. You can bring in all these players, but then you're just sitting there, you're just like, okay, so now we have all this talent, but we don't have anybody to run the offense.
Yeah, but I just don't think the Redskins don't have all that talent. I mean, the Rams at this point, I think, are a quarterback away from making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got a pretty good defense. They got probably the best running back, the best rookie running back of the league last year. Not best running back.
I'm done.
No, I mean, best rookie running back last year. The receiving core is getting better. They just need a quarterback, and I think they make the playoffs.
Yeah,
in a very tough division.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think the Redskins are like a quarterback away. Like, I don't think do the Redskins make the playoffs next year with Kirk Cousins?
No, because the rest of the NFC East gonna be healthy.
What do you think?
I mean, not even as a
I
biased,
honestly don't know.
Not even as
depends.
a biased way.
I think they have just as good a shot as any of the other teams.
No,
I truly believe that too.
Honestly, a healthy. I'm not even to be biased. A healthy Cowboys team.
But,
okay, now say that, and then include every single year in the last 3 years, a healthy Cowboys team.
But we make the playoffs.
You've made the playoffs how many times in the last 4 years?
Shoot,
Twice.
in the last 8 years. How many? And they've been healthy.
3. We made it 3 in the last 8.
No, y'all only made it once. Since T.O. has left, y'all have only made it one time, and y'all have been healthy for most of those years. And the Cowboys have only made it once. Every single other time was either the Redskins, RG3, the Eagles under Michael Vick and Nick Foles, and then y'all made it the year before last with DeMarco Murray being the league rusher. But the Cowboys, there's nothing that's shown from the Cowboys that I can automatically just be like. I mean, they have the talent to make the playoffs. Yes, they do have the talent to make the playoffs, but I can't just say they're going to be the favorite. I can't just count out.
Last year there was a Super Bowl favorite. How can you discredit the team?
They were a Super Bowl favorite, but the Cowboys look different than the team that was the Super Bowl favorite. They had a stout running game the year they were the Super Bowl favorite. The year the
running game wasn't bad last year.
Everybody was picking y'all to be a Super Bowl team because of how y'all looked from the year before with DeMarco Murray. Y'all didn't look like that. Granted, Tony Romo was out. I understand that.
And Dez Bryant,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. But y'all still didn't look like that same team. That people are like, okay, we should pick them.
Okay.
I'm not saying that the Cowboys don't have a shot at the playoffs.
I just think it's just as much as any other team.
I just think that they have just as much as any other team because when you look at what the Giants are going to retain, if they get Victor Cruz back,
that's a helper.
They're going to draft a running back. They are. They're going to draft a running back.
They're more likely getting Ezekiel Elliott with their first pick.
And then you look at what they've already built.
Oh my god!
You look at what
stuff like that too.
The Redskins have. If Kirk Cousins progresses, because he's progressed.
Yes.
And every single game he progresses. So you can say don't give him the franchise tag, whatever. I think based on his progression alone, you give him the franchise tag, you let it see what you got. If he doesn't perform at like a $19 million quarterback, you say, hey, This is what you perform like. You performed like the 11th to the 16th quarterback. You're going to get the average of 11 to 16, which is 5 to 10 million a year.
The problem is the Redskins have overpaid so many
They
people.
will.
He might just be like, no, I want more.
They're still
If
hurting
he,
from
and
the
if he's-
Albert
and you know
Haynes
what? That would be
situation.
stupid of him because there's no. If he says I want more and the Redskins do overpay, that's stupid of the Redskins. If he says he wants more and the Redskins are like, we're not going to pay that. Have fun. We're going to franchise tag you and we're going to send you to the Tennessee Titans. Have and
Since
that's
we
a
can't
career
hate on
killer.
Cleveland anymore.
He doesn't want me
Marcus
to. He doesn't want me to
Mariota's
harp
there.
on Cleveland anymore. That's
Hey.
fine. I'm going to send you to the St. Louis Rams, who has a coach stuck in 1999, who can't put a plan
Yeah,
together that's
definitely.
better than 1999, and he's going to be stuck there and throwing interceptions,
True,
handing the
man.
ball off to
Trust me.
Todd Gurley,
Watch
and
the
not
Rams
getting
game.
any of the glory.
It's watching Rams games, bro. It's the truth.
That's why I need to be a Jaguars fan. Come support us up in.
Yo, I like the Jags.
Hey,
They're a good
I
enough
like you,
team.
man. Hey,
mean,
that's
that-
Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
Not Super Bowl. They're
No.
playoffs next year. Playoffs next year.
Eh,
They're a playoff team.
Blake
Shaw, that's what you
Bortles.
said last season, bro.
They were 2 games out, man. They
Rashad.
lost all the games they
Well,
lost
looking
by at least a touchdown less.
Looking at it this way,
Oh,
the
Ron,
Redskins
Ron's got
have,
notes.
the Redskins have negative $6 million in cap space.
Mhm.
All right.
Ainsworth.
Now, 16 million goes to RG3. So when they cut him, they're going to save 12 million.
Yeah.
So turn that to six positive.
Mhm.
All right. So and when they're going to renegotiate contracts most likely for Trent Williams.
Yep. They got
All right. They're going to have to. They're not going to pay. They're going to cut Pierre Garçon. I'm telling you right now, Pierre Garçon is going to be a free agent. They're not paying him $10 million.
Who's he
next
throwing
year.
the ball to then?
Deshaun Jackson and Jordan Reed. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's it.
Are you going to pay Pierre Garçon $10 million next
No,
year?
he's not worth that.
You could try and get him to reconstruct.
Well, if
his
they
contract.
reconstruct, great. But I mean, I don't think he will.
But if you take away Pierre Garçon, that's a lot of pressure to put on Deshaun Jackson and Jordan Reed.
I mean,
Reed still
right
doesn't
now,
play
Deshaun
now.
Jackson's getting paid 9.5.
You can't pay him
9.5, and you're paying Pierre Garçon over 10.
I had a great segue, but we're not done with this yet. So.
Go ahead, man.
Are we done with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, you threw your stats out. Also, side note, you sounded like Adam Schefter giving like a report right there. You were like, the way they're lined up right now, I see them paying Kirk Cousins about $3 million on the cap. Like just the way he like stops his it just
His
sounded
face,
like
though.
a-
You see his face.
He's
He's
so
so
mad.
blow.
Anyway, they cut Pierre
he
Garçon.
looks sick.
They cut Pierre Garçon. They need a wide receiver, Roddy White.
Oh my God.
Roddy
Oh, man.
White. Is
We're-
not.
That was a good
Roddy-
transition. I like that transition. though.
Released
I like
by
that
the
transition.
Falcons
Throw it in
today.
my mouth.
Ron's
I
not going to
like-
throw
I
up.
like that.
But what did the chat? Okay, so he's probably not going to the Redskins. It was just a way to get to Roddy White.
It's a good way to
But
get to
where?
him.
Okay, so I think Panthers. That's the first place I think. Where I mean, Ron has a whole podcast on football, so we'll go to him first because he at least thinks he knows everything, and then we'll go from there. Adam Schefter to you.
Adam Schefter to me. Where do I think Roddy White goes?
Well, you know what he's gonna say? His house to retire.
That's where he should go.
Oh man.
Roddy
Oh,
White
man.
has the combined
Here we
stats in the last 2 years that Des Bryant had in 5 games last year. That's a true statement.
Man. Okay, go on. Go ahead.
I understand how great Roddy White used to be, and I understand that there's a lot of problems with the offense with the Falcons. One of those problems was Roddy White, and he was great, but injuries took their toll on him much faster than they do on a lot of wide receivers, and unfortunately, that's going to be the reason he can't play. He is at this point. Roddy White isn't 4th string on most teams. He's and
Fourth
Yeah.
string.
You're
I'm
taking
I mean-
you're taking Darius Hayward Bay over?
Whoa.
Because
I said he isn't 4th on most teams.
Okay.
if you look at it, he didn't do anything as a starter. He was taking up space on the field. Roddy White did not perform at all this year. Now we can't say because Matt Ryan was targeting Julio Jones all season. No, it's not even that. It's just Roddy White couldn't get open anymore. He lost a step in his speed. When you get the ball thrown to him, he was dropping passes. It wasn't Roddy White no more. His time is over.
No, I mean I agree with that, but I think he can still be used at teams like Carolina's. I mean, they had Ted Ginn Jr. who couldn't hold a baby. Like you hand it, just drop.
But
Like,
Ted
he
Ginn
couldn't
Jr.
do
was like,
anything.
Hold up, baby.
I mean, like-
I haven't seen a wide receiver come out of his break as slow as I did Roddy White this year since Brandon Stokely got injured his knee.
Jeez.
Man.
That's
Come
how
on.
slow he
I
looked
mean,
this year.
Again, I'm not saying he's your first target by no means. I'm just saying I think
Right, he's your 3rd or he's your 4th.
yeah, but I think like a team like the Panthers could at least use him.
A team like the Panthers can use anybody because that's just what they do.
Right, that's why there's not a whole lot
If
of
he
teams
wants,
out
if
there
he
that
wants to
could
continue
use
his
him.
career, he'll go to the Patriots, he'll go to the Panthers, or he'll go to the Cardinals.
I mean, those are the three
that's
teams
it.
that I've heard. The Patriots always take old receivers.
But he's gonna get cut
Like-
quick for the Patriots.
No, I don't think he will. T.O. made their team,
And they got cut.
and then Randy Moss made their team.
Brandon LaFell got put
Chad
on
Johnson
there.
made that team.
Chad Johnson made that team.
Yeah.
T.O. It was Chad Johnson, not T.O.
Brandon LaFell got on there. I mean,
He just
Well,
got cut.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, is there any other team besides?
Brandon
I don't.
Lloyd was on that football team.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't.
Brandon Lloyd was nasty.
I don't- I don't even think Arizona takes them. I just think it's either the Panthers or the Patriots. I don't think there's another. There's like maybe you have them way deep on your roster and pay them like not a whole lot in Denver to give another
But his
option.
league minimum's still high.
Yeah, I know, but like maybe that's all I can see. I mean, is there any Brendan? Do you think?
I could see, I mean, I see a couple teams that actually be interested. I mean, I think possibly the Cowboys could be interested in them. I think the Vikings. I think the Rams. I mean, there's plenty of teams. It's all about where he wants to go. And now that the Rams have relocated to Los Angeles, there's a lot of players that be wanting to go to Los Angeles. I mean, I'm pretty much banking that he wants to go to a championship contender. But there's a couple of teams that could use a veteran receiver. I mean, the man, he got targeted 70 times this season. He had 43 receptions. And I mean, his targets have gone down each season, apart from last year when he had 125 and the year before they had 97. But pretty much he's been used as more of a blocking receiver. I mean, when your targets go from 125 to 70, that's a big difference. And not all that just on you not being able to get open or what have you, but the scheme that Kyle Shanahan has run for them has been primarily for him to run block for the running backs or to block for Julio Jones on wide receiver screens. That's how they primarily use Roddy White in these most recent years. And if you're telling me he's targeted 70 times and 43 receptions, that's 27 incomplete passes. Not all of those are drops. So he's still catching the ball. And I feel like as a veteran receiver, he could still be supplemental to a team like the Vikings, a team like the Rams that just need a receiver, a team like you said, the Carolina Panthers that just need a name receiver, somebody on there. If teams are bringing on Steve Smith and other veteran receivers. So
But here's the difference.
But Steve Smith
It's
can.
Steve-
can, like,
he's still balling. But I'm
He's an
saying,
exception. Yeah, he's an
yeah,
exception.
you know what I'm saying? He's still balling. But I'm saying players that they brought the Colts brought on Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson didn't perform all that well this season.
yeah, that was a
you know
giant mistake.
You know what I'm saying? But the season before that he performed. Andre Johnson also had injuries before that. Roddy White had injuries in his prime, and he still was being effective. We haven't seen Roddy White even being effective because most of his receptions or targets have gone to Julio Jones, and then he's been used more as a blocking receiver in this Kyle Shanahan scheme.
I just feel like Roddy White dropped off quickly. Like I felt like him and Julio were at the same level, and then all of a sudden it was like Julio's the top receiver and Roddy White's bum. Like I mean,
it was like 1 year they
yeah.
both was like the best. duo
yeah.
receiver
I mean, it was
combination.
like either Antonio Brown and Mike Wallace in Pittsburgh for a little while,
Mhm.
or them two, and then like the next year was like, what happened?
What happened was Roddy White got hurt and he was out for some time, and Julio Jones became the primary receiver for Matt Ryan for some time, and after that, it just became what it was.
Yeah, I mean, but
So if you had to pick teams for him to go to and why, what would you guys pick?
the Panthers, because I think they could use like a 4-string, 3rd-string receiver. I think the Patriots. I mean, that's the only two. You could stick him on some other teams and say he could do something here and there. But I think Patriots, because they just like old receivers that can just catch like 5-yard
And they're a
passes
contender.
in their contender. And the Panthers can use a receiver, and they're also now a contender.
Now, are we doing a contender team where Roddy White want to go, or teams that would want him?
Just
As
teams.
both?
Yeah.
All right. So as teams that would probably want him, I'm thinking something like an Oakland Raiders team to give compliment to
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, because you already have Derek Carr, you have Amari Cooper. He just needs another person for a reliever. Because you also have Justin Forsett there. I mean, not Justin Murray, Latavius Murray, who's running the ball actually pretty well. So you bring in someone like that for compliment. Now, as for a team that's a contender where you probably want to go to, it has to be one of those premier teams. It has to be like a Seahawks. It has to be like a Panthers. It has to be like a Patriots. Because as you know, like you said, the Patriots, anybody can go fit in. Like, I mean, they pull people off the streets and they're coming in and being great players. He just got to be able to catch little passes, little screen passes, and get 5, 6 yards, like you're saying. The Panthers with that situation, you bring in Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin comes back off injury.
Yeah.
This year. And Greg Olsen coming off the season he just had, and then you bring in that, I guess you would say, the third, fourth, Devin Funchess, third, fourth weapon with Roddy White. Now you have a complete receiver threat out there for Cam Newton with 4 different threats. And he'll see that as right away. See that his touches will go down possibly even more than it did this year with Atlanta. But he knows he's on a team to win with great receivers for a quarterback like Cam.
I think if I'm a team and I'm looking to bide some time because I have a player leaving, like the Chargers, having lost Floyd. If you're looking at the Rams because you want experience in the locker room because they're a young team, or the Packers because you need an insurance policy after what we saw happen to their receiving core this year.
Yeah.
Or the Jets because you just need somebody opposite of Marshall.
Yeah.
All right. And
Decker?
Right, but Decker plays his best stuff in the slot.
Yeah.
You can put White on the outside. If you're going to go a 3 receiver set and you don't necessarily want to spend a high draft pick, but you want to spend low draft picks on receivers and then bring White in on a league minimum, pay him $1 million with an option to extend him next year, do it. But outside of that, I mean, those are the only kind of places I see. That's the only kind of situations and roles where I see him getting to significant playing time. Other than that, he's going to be on the bench waiting for the slot guy to go out or waiting for the number 2 to go out or the number 1 to go out so everything rotates in. I mean, that's it. He's nowhere near what he was 2 years ago, and he won't be ever again, I don't think.
All right, we'll move on because we haven't even hit NBA yet. Franchise tag players: Von Miller, Josh Norman, Eric Berry, and Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, biggest franchise tag to you name wise? Who was the biggest for their team? What do you guys think?
As in keeping, like, it was a good move.
Yeah, like biggest impact, I guess, for the franchise tag, like best move.
Josh Norman. I think it was Josh Norman.
Yeah.
I don't know because I think it's Von Miller because Von Miller was the hardest soul of that defense. And
are you talking about what was the most shocking or what is the most important?
Important.
I think it's Von Miller because you can't lose that hard of your defense.
What was shocking then? Are you saying Norman for shocking?
No. Alshon Jeffrey is definitely the most shocking.
He's a non-exclusive though.
Right.
So if somebody picks him up, they get like a first-round draft pick or something.
I hope they do.
That would, but I mean, we weren't going to spend a whole lot of time on franchise because I mean,
yeah, he can play great when he's on the field and he wants to play.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't want to play, he's awful.
He's had a first-hand experience with this man.
I watch that guy 16 games a year, round off routes, stop short, not turn around on his hooks, watch him run out of bounds and look lost. Like he can't find the donuts.
See,
I mean, I don't know. He's
like Ron walking to class.
Exactly. He plays football like I walk to class.
Where limping around, where's class?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
finds a broom closet, falls asleep. Those kind of things.
I'm just not going. Never mind.
See, I just believe Josh Norman was the big one for me personally because what's the main critique of that Panther defense is the secondary, and that's your best cornerback. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much you could say him and what's the middle linebacker? Middle linebacker.
Luke Kuechly.
Yeah,
Luke Kuechly are like the pretty much the embodiment of the defense when it comes to the Panthers. And a lot of times when people are looking towards Josh Norman's way, Josh Norman is starting to get that. I feel like Josh Norman kind of not the impact Richard Sherman had, but Josh Norman kind of became a name brand player this season because of what happened, obviously, with Odell Beckham Jr. And then just how this Panther team has just the personality he took on throughout the whole season. So I feel like he was a big one because he was somebody you have to keep in your secondary for a secondary that's not all that great and that team staple is technically in their front 7.
Hey, can I ask a question for you fellas?
Mm-hmm.
So
no, absolutely not.
so
won't allow it.
Right. So with this franchise tag, is this something that's like discouraging for a player for them to get franchise tag more so because they want like a long-term contract thing?
No, I actually think it's more of a I'm going to prove this team wrong for not signing me to a long-term deal of what I wanted.
So that's kind of what it is. So
yeah,
basically when you get franchise tag, it's kind of like a disrespect thing to those players.
Yeah, like I think it's more motivation than disrespect. Like I don't think they take it as like they don't want to pay me the big money.
Well,
I
some
think
do.
Yeah, I mean some do. The one like
Revis,
like
talking to you.
Yeah, like T.O. would care and stuff like that. But I mean like I think I would take it more as like a well, I'm going to prove you wrong, and now you're going to owe me even more money
Yeah.
because you made a mistake in not signing me. And I think a lot of players, I think that's what Kirk Cousins is at right now. I think he's like, oh, you guys didn't want to pay me all this money. Well, you're going to see. And sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, Joe Flacco proved that you can do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they paid him $100 million. So
Josh Norman getting tagged is not. I think that they'll work a deal out. Honestly, I don't think that this is going to be something that's going to follow all the way through. Now, honestly, if I had to pick between Richard Sherman in 2012 or Josh Norman over this last year, I would easily take Josh Norman.
Yeah,
hands down. Richard Sherman had a great year that year, but he wasn't then, and he still isn't as complete of a player as Josh Norman is.
And he had a whole secondary to help him out.
Yeah, exactly. When you have Earl
was,
Thomas and freaking Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, no. So he had a whole I know the Legion of Boom, and what is it? The what's the nickname for them? No, for the Panthers. They made a secondary nickname.
They really?
It was like the Slashers or something.
The
Street Kings.
The
or
Thieves.
Something.
The Thieves. Yeah, the Thieves.
Yeah, like the. But I mean, like
Knights of the Round Table or something.
Yeah. Da-da-da. So that's what we are.
So this is why this is kind of why I feel like Richard Sherman was so great, because like you said, you had a Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas back there, so that eliminates the middle of the field. So all that has left for Richard Sherman basically to cover is the sideline. You shut down the sideline, you can't throw the middle of the field. You can't throw sideline. You can't throw on Richard Sherman. You can't throw any in the secondary at all. I
don't think you can throw it to. I mean, people avoid Josh Norman. Like this year, people kind of targeted Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same thing gonna happen next year because they did the same thing with Darrell Reeves. Because when you look at honestly these cornerbacks, if you look at some of their stats, we may think they're great, but a lot of the times when they get targeted, actually, my friend Hunter was want to show me one of these stats one time. Like top premier cornerbacks that people will say they're like they get targeted in the aspect that when the ball's thrown that way, it's a lot more completions than we think. It's just the ball's not thrown to him as much. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, oh, they're only doing the Richard Sherman side like 10 times for the season, but 7 of those were completions.
Yeah,
but they only do it 7 times because Richard Sherman. That's he's so great.
Yeah,
but they're still getting receptions against them and stuff like that. And my friend Hunter pointed that out one year, like when everybody's talking about Darrell Reeves being one of the best corners in the game. But if you look at it, over 65% of the catches were being completed on Darrell Reeves. They just weren't throwing it as much on him. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it was Richard Sherman.
Well, I feel like because that's a tricky stat because I don't know if that stat shows because all the times that they weren't throwing it at him, how many of those times were the receivers not open? Mm-hmm. And then how many times when the passes were completed, how difficult of a pass was it to get it completed? You know what I'm saying?
Those are stats they don't track.
Yeah, those are stats you can't show because you could also show how many times when the passes are thrown their way, how many times the pass could be deflected, or how many times.
But they keep that though.
No, that's what I'm saying. But how many times is it intercepted, or how many times is another defender able to make a play on the ball? Because they can't show a stat on how difficult a pass is to complete on a Darrell Reeves or Richard Sherman or Josh Norman.
I also saw a stat that was I don't remember what exactly it was. But it was for Josh Norman this year, and it was like he shut down. he shut down like the top receivers, and they had like a total of 200 yards. Like 6 guys had a total of 200 yards on him. Like the top 6.
Yeah, but I'm saying okay, that's kind of like the same thing with like Nnamdi when Nnamdi Asomugha goes in the league. He did the same thing, but no one still giving him his credit. And then the next year after that,
Asomugha was good.
He was,
and then he got paid.
And then he got paid, and then he had a decline.
Yeah,
it's because of that Philadelphia system. That's what got Nnamdi because they started running zone. Yeah, that's what got Nnamdi. Nnamdi was nice, bro. Don't give me that face. Nnamdi was nice.
He was way better.
Nnamdi was that dude.
Ron
was Nnamdi.
Wait, Ron was giving the dissatisfied dad face.
Nnamdi was that dude.
Son, we need to sit down and talk.
Nnamdi and Asante Samuel were both dominant corners, and then the year after that, they had that decline, and then boom, they disappeared. Same thing happened to Josh Norman. You never know.
All right, we're going to move on from franchise tags because, again, way too much time, but yet still less than Johnny Manziel somehow. God. So we'll move to extensions, contract extensions, not hair extensions. We're not that type of show.
Come on.
I need those, dude. I need a mullet.
This guy.
You need more than hair.
Come on.
We're going to start with Joe Flacco. I know I have Brady listed, but Flacco got paid he got paid guaranteed $40 million. $40
For the season.
$40 million for not playing. He didn't even play.
They really love this man, Joe Flacco. in Baltimore.
I hate Joe Flacco
Dang.
with a burning passion.
Alex, you mad, bro?
I hate Joe
good.
Flacco.
That's what I mean.
No,
Right, you know what I mean? Hey, guy who said he was gonna send the gifts, where
Pat.
you at, man?
Pat. It was
Pat,
Pat. Yeah.
Pat, where you at, Pat? I need the gifts now, man. Come on, send them in quick, Pat. I need them.
No, like the fact that everybody hails him as like a good quarterback, people want to call him elite when he's never been elite ever, and we're giving him all this money. Like he's making $40 million. So then idiots like Kirk Cousins go, well, I'm worth at least 20.
It's sad because it's true.
Like
It's
it's,
so sad.
That's
'cause it's
exactly
true.
how he says it too. He's sitting at his locker and he's like, he opens up the paper, he sees the 40 million, and he's like,
No.
well, I mean, I could get 20.
Okay, he's like, he's looking at the paper. He's like, you like that? You really like that?
you like that?
Yeah, you like that?
But I imagine he's louder than he thinks he is.
Kirk Cousins
So like
just bought a Joe Flacco jersey.
the guy's like three stalls down or like looking at him like, that guy's crazy. I hope they don't pay him. This man is insane. But no, just Flacco
just
is.
staring down.
Yeah,
Nobody watching.
you like that? you like that? You
He's
like,
going off for no reason. Everybody's like, bro.
I'm worth 20 million. You like that?
Yeah, really though.
No, but I just like he's never. Yeah, you won a Super Bowl, which is fine and dandy, and you get a bye for the rest of your life if you win a Super Bowl, unless your name is Peyton Manning, where it's like, well, you couldn't get another one. But like, he's an average quarterback. Their team sucked last year. He played for half the season. I just don't see how you pay a man. I understand they extended it, and it's going to be less on the cap this year and everything, but guaranteed $40 million. I could give you 10 quarterbacks I'd rather give $40 million to.
But that's the problem. Are those quarterbacks
Like
available?
Bortles.
Are those
No,
quarterbacks
I'm just-
available? That's the only thing.
No, but he wasn't going to leave. I mean, Flacco was not going to leave. And again, if Flacco goes anywhere else,
Didn't his money go
I
down
think-
with that?
Yeah.
yeah, no. I mean, contract
His cap hit went down.
cap hit went down,
That's why they did it.
but it's but $40 million.
But I mean,
So they converted a bunch of money into bonus. Is all they
yeah,
did.
that's pretty much what they
They
technically did.
prorated. What they did is it's actually really smart.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what
I read up
what-
on it because I was like, what is this? Because I also
Yeah.
wanted to find out how
What
Alex
they've
Mack
done-
could just void a
Yeah.
contract.
Is they gave
Exactly.
him a contract extension for I haven't seen exactly
3 years.
for 3
Yeah.
years.
I think
And
it's
what
like
they did is they
2021.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
prorated a bunch of it, and they said, we're going to get you for another 3 years minimum.
Mhm.
And they said, we'll prorate a whole bunch of it. We'll give it to you all this. We'll give a bunch of it to you this year in prorated bonus. And then from there forward, his cap hit will be much, much lower because the Ravens don't want to be the Saints.
No, man.
All right. An
No,
aging
man.
team with no cap space.
It's a tragedy to be one of those.
And so I mean, I'm not necessarily against it. I mean, if they're going to give him an extension and it's for 3 years and they prorate a whole bunch of it to pay him and to front load the contract, go for it. I'm actually a really big fan of that. I think that's one of the of the decisions they made, that the Bears made to keep Jay Cutler, the smartest thing that they did was front load his contract into the first 3 years, so they didn't have to pay him crap in those last three.
But
I mean-
it's still 40.
I mean, we've seen what happens when you don't. The Saints, when you don't front load a contract, instead you backload a contract for some reason, which makes absolutely zero sense for a team. You're stuck in a situation where you're paying Drew Brees $30 million to play this year. So I'm not necessarily against it. I mean, in all actuality, really, this is a fan pleaser. This is something to keep the fans hope. After what they saw last year, they needed to find a way to keep the fans in it. And Joe Flacco's the guy. Joe Flacco is Baltimore. That guy
I think-
screams it.
But I think it's also part of it is the fact that, I mean, you give him this money like you're saying, like, so it doesn't hurt you as bad on the salary cap, but also because, I mean, you're gonna secure him for an amount of money because of one, he's a Super Bowl champion, and the Super Bowl rings get you money, as we see with Russell Wilson. I mean, even though he's produced with it, but a Super Bowl ring brings you unprecedented money, no matter what it is. Colin Kaepernick initially got a lot of money because of how he played when he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. He didn't play all that great. He just took them to the Super Bowl. So, a Super Bowl, and then when you look at the market for quarterbacks, a lot of guys are like, well, we can secure him for this amount of money. So they just essentially the name of the game has pretty much just become who can secure the best available quarterback at the price that won't hurt your cap as much. So you can try and bring on talent to, suffice for that quarterback. That's essentially what the name of the game's become.
So what I just looked up is that Flacco is going to get $125 million over the next 6 years, averaging $20.8 million over each year, which is higher than his previous mark of $20.1 million. So they just prolonged it a little longer and about the same amount of money.
But they just prorated $20 million to pay him this year because this year they have 38 total in cap space.
Yeah.
So what they did is they front loaded 20 million of it. So they'll still have 18 left in cap space. They'll actually will pay him $42 million this year. And half of that 40 million guaranteed will be gone. He'll average 20.8, but over the next over those back 4 years, he'll only make like $4 or $5 million a year.
I wouldn't.
So if they're able to cut him, they'll be honestly able to cut him for a lot less money after these next 2 years. But I mean, he still makes his money, and they're in a safe spot to cut him in 2 years if they have to.
I wouldn't give Flacco $42.
Well, I know you wouldn't.
$42, man.
I mean, Flacco can throw the ball. I mean,
I'm gonna let him go to the Browns.
Y'all just, man, I know Cleveland fans, man. I know Cleveland fans, man.
And they probably would be like,
the
yeah,
Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns would beat the Ravens twice that year.
That's fine. you make it sound like that's a bad thing. That'd be great.
Then they beat the Steelers once.
No, they wouldn't. The Browns can't beat the Browns could literally have the all-star, like the Pro Bowl team.
What's that?
No, I don't think so, because it was Johnny Manziel the first week, and it was like, Johnny Manziel.
Come on.
and then it was like their third string. Actually, their third string almost
they lost to him this year, didn't they?
Yeah, no.
I think
they lost to him on the road.
Yeah.
They lost
to Davis.
Austin Davis.
Yeah.
Austin Davis is a star. Right?
Yeah, he's the future of that team. Austin Davis is the future of that team.
Austin Davis, man.
I don't know why I got rid
Pay
of
that man $42 million.
I know why we got rid of Austin Davis.
Austin Davis was y'all savior that year. You got to make it nowhere, but
no, trust me.
He gave y'all a little bit of hope.
All right.
Austin Davis gave y'all
Tom Brady's extension.
Oh man.
I think he's playing until he's 45, so I think this is a great idea. And that's not even a joke. I honestly think he's playing until he's 45.
They can keep him upright that long. He probably could.
You fucked me on this earlier. You were like, no way. He doesn't make it to 43. Nope. He 45 doesn't happen.
Ron wasn't having it. He wasn't having it.
He changed his stance now.
I mean, Tom Brady, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I never seen a dude get older and then post up better numbers than some of his younger years. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But and then with half of your team being injured, and the man, he still throws 5 touchdowns for every 1 interception. Like, I don't get it. But I think, obviously it was kind of the same thing that they were doing with the Ravens contract. You're trying to you move more to the salary cap so he doesn't hurt your salary cap this season. So that then you can try and get, I don't know who the Patriots ever signed really to help them in the wide receiver position or in the running back position. They sign a whole lot of guys that they just find off the street and then somehow end up being serviceable. But they're supposedly supposed to be trying to. Well, the main reason for all this was so they could sign Jamie Collins, Dante Hightower, and Malcolm Butler in free agency, since those guys are going to sue, their contracts expire. So that was the whole point of Tom Brady's contract. But I think he can live up to his contract. I mean, Tom Brady's never given anybody any reason to think he wouldn't. So I think it was a good move.
I'm glad Michael's not here because he would fight us tooth and nail for 3 hours about this because he thinks Brady's a system quarterback.
I think so too.
He kind of basically is.
You think he's not a good quarterback at all? He's a system.
No,
I think on most other teams he's not nearly successful, not even close.
But he's still successful.
Yeah, he's still successful. I mean,
to a point, yeah. But he's successful like Tony Romo's successful, or he's successful, which that's kind of a bad example, but he's successful like Eli Manning's successful. Like he'll probably still win you a Super Bowl or two because he'll get you there in the playoffs and he's got the intelligence, but he's not going to have the wins and losses and the statistics that he has.
Michael went on the he'd be an average quarterback at best.
Wow. I don't think he's average now.
Wow.
I don't think he's average, but if you put him on the Browns, I don't think that's still a playoff team.
Bro, the Browns are like the worst team you could go to.
Now you want to hop on the Browns suck bandwagon?
No, I've been to the Browns suck. When I said the Browns are good,
when we're like, yo, the Browns. I said
the Browns were sucky. I said they suck.
Tom Brady can't make that a playoff team, but he won't make it. I mean, I don't think this extension was good because kind of like the Peyton Manning thing. You didn't really see Peyton Manning just magically just drop off. Kind of like that's how the drop off was. It was kind of like a magical drop off out of nowhere. Because the year before that, it was still pretty efficient. And then all of a sudden he had this year. So what's stopping Tom Brady from doing the same thing?
falling off like that.
Yeah, just a random fall off. What's stopping that?
I mean, I think the fact he is kept upright and isn't hit.
But
like
your body every year your body gets older.
Yeah,
body gets weaker.
I mean, have you heard
He's
the
already-
stuff? Have you heard the stuff he eats and everything? This man will not eat like he won't eat like anything boiled in tap water. He eats like a certain amount of protein. He won't eat anything that has any sort of preservatives and stuff. This man takes care of his body like no one else. Like I don't know how he even eats. He doesn't eat carbs. He doesn't eat like he literally is the definition of eating and living healthy.
Yeah,
that's why I think he could play to 45.
He's the best quarterback that evil scientist Bill Belichick could build.
Oh my goodness.
Call him evil scientist.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
because that's
man.
what he is.
I just imagine Belichick in like a like the
Like a
lab
Frankenstein coat?
No, like the lab coat, but the sleeves are cut off of it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
And he's just no emotion. He's like, we're gonna make
Let's not.
We're gonna make
talk about the
Frankenstein.
injuries. The injuries this year for the Patriots were ridiculous. I do believe he is more system quarterback than most people. I don't think that if he went to another team, he would be an absolute failure. I think that the conversation that has to be had, just like you always have to have it between Peyton Manning and him, is that if you take Peyton Manning and put him on that on those Patriots teams all those years, Peyton Manning has way more Super Bowls, more Super Bowl wins than what Tom Brady does. And if you put Tom Brady on the Colts, there's no way he wins nearly as many Super Bowls as he got to. There's no way he gets to as many Super Bowls as he got to. I think that with him being wrapped up, he could play till 45 with that team easily. I think he could go to 45 with that team.
So
But only that team.
So I agree that he can play for a long time because the reason why Peyton Manning's had this precipitous drop off is because his nerve damage that he's had in his neck. So that's all he's had that all throughout his career. His neck problems, and he's just been. That's the reason why the Colts didn't put their trust in him when they had the number one pick and they went with Andrew Luck, obviously. And with Tom Brady, I don't believe that if Tom Brady went to another team, he would just be some, because you still at the line, you still have to make the checks, and he still knows what the defense is doing. Defensive players still have as much respect for Tom Brady as any other quarterback in the league. And I feel like if you were a system quarterback, defensive players would recognize that themselves. You have to have some level of excellence to even be able to play under a great coach. If the case is Tom Brady's a system quarterback, even though I'm deviating from sports here, what makes us not say Tim Duncan is not a system player under Greg Popovich? Because he's been in the same coach,
the most fundamental player of all time.
And so why? But Tom Brady's had all the fundamentals of a quarterback.
I'm not saying.
So
that he's
what
not
is the
great.
difference?
I never said he wasn't great.
No, but I'm saying, but we're saying Tom Brady's a system quarterback. So I'm saying, what stops us? Why are we saying Tom Brady's a system quarterback and Tim Duncan's not a system player with the Spurs? Tim Duncan's never been with any other coach. He's never been in any other system. He's never been on any other team. So if you take Tim Duncan and put him on the Lakers when Kobe Bryant had nobody, and you want to see how Tim Duncan would have fared, and put Kobe Bryant on the Spurs, does Kobe Bryant win more championships?
With the Tim Duncan thing, with the system, couldn't you say kind of like the same thing with the Lakers with Phil Jackson triangle? I mean, it's
no, but that's the point. Though, how are we going to say these guys are a product of systems? But the thing is, Kobe had multiple coaches and still had his teams in the playoffs, even though they weren't as good. He didn't win championships with Phil Jackson, but Phil Jackson also didn't win without Kobe and Shaq and Michael Jordan. The players help just as much as the coaches do. So I don't believe that players are a product of a system. System helps
because we've seen Matt Castle come out and have a 10-win season,
right? And
we also
seen Matt Flynn come in Green Bay and break a record in a game.
And we also have seen Bill Belichick coach in other places and not be as successful also. So and then he gets Tom Brady and he wins 3 Super Bowl rings. Or he wins 4 Super Bowl rings.
The deflated footballs help.
Okay. Okay.
No, I just think, and there's the combined intelligence of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady is exponentially better than what most other teams can put on a football field. I don't think that Tom Brady is your stereotypical system quarterback. I just don't think that he thrives in any way near what he has without Bill Belichick.
See, I can agree. See, that level of greatness is a product of, yes, you're great coaching and a great player, but for what Mike, I can't go with the whole thing of him being predominantly a system quarterback, because arguably if he hadn't have gotten hurt, they could have went to the Super Bowl that year with Matt. They had Matt Castle there, but arguably Tom Brady was there. Who says they wouldn't have gone to the Super Bowl again
They
that
probably
year.
would have.
You know what I'm saying? So Tom Brady makes a big difference. I mean, your player IQ and all that and your ability. Tom Brady's still an accurate quarterback when he throws the ball. Tom Brady still knows where to put the ball. He still knows how to do what checks he needs to change to. He knows how to read the defense. Other quarterbacks, we could argue, that's why they obviously haven't moved on from Tom Brady because they're sitting there looking at that he could play longer. But a lot of people are sitting there saying, well, when are you going to move on to Jimmy Garoppolo, who you picked in the
want to move on.
Why?
To Garoppolo.
No.
but that's the point. That's the point because Bill Belichick knows what he has at the time,
But
even though he's an aging quarterback.
That's
even though he's
the
aging.
same thing with Tony Romo. Like Tony Romo gets hurt, but Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett still want to play him because who you really going to start? Who we have? Kellen Moore.
Well,
That's different though because he's you know what you have at Kellen Moore. Jimmy Garoppolo, they drafted him. And when they drafted him, he said, we like this guy and we want him to take the mantle after Tom Brady goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different thing. Y'all have never drafted somebody and said, this is the predecessor or the guy that's going to come after Tony Romo. Y'all have never done that. That's what everybody thought Johnny Manziel might be after this whole Johnny Manziel thing went down. They thought y'all might sign him and he could come in and take over the reins after Tony Romo.
Well, it doesn't help for Garoppolo that he's going to get to play when he turns 40 because that's
pretty much.
I mean, like he got screwed over there, and they screwed themselves by not playing him in games that don't matter, like versus the Dolphins at the end of the year.
Yeah.
If we got to at least see what he had, or if he just thrived in that system, they could trade him to get a ton.
Yeah, and that's what they've talked about,
like
doing.
They've done with other players, but they just never give him any time to play. So I think they're screwing themselves there. Now we'll move into the last quarterback of extensions, and then we'll move on to NBA. Sam Bradford. I can't even stop laughing reading it. Sam Bradford got an extension with the Eagles.
What it says.
Yeah.
I might have been a few beers in by the time we got to this.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. You could be no beers in, and that's still a funny looking contract. His agent might be the best agent to ever grace this earth if he can do that. And the thing is, like people are like, oh, he improved the second half of the year. That's because he was the worst quarterback in the league the first half of the year. It's hard to get worse.
Mark Sanchez.
But Sanchez was good for a while. No, you laugh, Sanchez. I don't know why you laugh.
Come on, you can't laugh like that. You can't laugh like that. No, we got to chill. Come on. Come on.
Yo, hold on. Think about this.
You killed him. You killed him.
He's dead. No, okay, hold on. Think this.
He's gonna shut you off, dude.
How many conference championships has he been to?
You mean the defense?
No, Mark Sanchez.
No, let's change.
No. Hold on. Mark
Defense.
Sanchez as quarterback. How many has he been to?
2.
How many has Tony Romo been to?
Damn.
I'm just saying he's showed that he's got at least some
No.
confidence.
Whoa. You don't want to sit here and act like Mark Sanchez was that great. And he's better than Tony Romo.
I'm not.
You know our defense is trash. Our defense is mediocre at best. And even compared to one of the best defenses at the time. No.
But I'm saying that he has shown.
You had other quarterbacks.
He has
had other
shown.
quarterbacks you could use. You had.
Oh,
who we
God.
use? Well, Colin Kaepernick. You've been
Yeah, but Colin Kaepernick's had a small sample size. Mark Sanchez, for a while, was good enough to get his team there. Yeah, he had a great defense, but he was still good.
His team there.
Yeah, but he still got there.
And we get a team there. Give us the catch, and we're there.
Hey,
Ron's dead.
Butt fumble. All right, that's all I got to say.
All I was thinking.
But I'm saying
We're talking about Sam Bradford.
How his epic turnover of all time, I feel like.
Yeah, but I was
sorry.
But I've seen him produce more than Sam Bradford, who just got this huge contract.
Also, a small sample size. You realize Sam Bradford's contract's with 1.2 billion snack bags of Doritos?
Come on.
You know what? I think he's gonna turn that in. I think he's like, just give it to me in snack bags. Don't give me the cash. Give me snack bags.
That's because that's how fragile his body is.
Yeah.
A bag of Doritos.
Trust me,
Because
I know.
that's what he's worth. That and a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right.
I don't know if y'all saw
I can't believe they gave him that
I don't know
money.
if y'all saw the GIF when DeMarco Murray walked up on him, and the caption was, "You told me you was better than Romo." Just walking up mad at him.
No, but okay.
$26 million?
Yeah.
$26
Look,
million.
Look, I don't think anybody can sit here with a straight face and be like, you know what, he was worth it.
You said we're not crazy
You think
enough.
so?
We're not crazy
You
enough
want him
for
as your
Chip Kelly.
quarterback?
Huh?
You want him as your quarterback?
You said keep your straight face. And
You said Chip Kelly's too crazy for us. We can't handle this guy as a head coach. He can't be the GM. It's too nuts here. And then you sign Sam Bradford for $26 million.
The thing
and
is,
you try to have a leg to stand on.
Their problem is
Who's their GM right now?
No, their problem is who's out there.
Who's out there?
Yeah, that's
Who's out? They shouldn't have given
thing.
him this astronomical amount of money and look like idiots.
They better be drafting 2 quarterbacks.
They should draft 9.
9 every draft pick. Go to all quarterbacks. So I don't know. There's 9 eligible quarterbacks.
This will go down as this contract right here.
it's a Jamarcus Russell contract.
Will go down.
Albert Hainsworth.
Will go down as the 3rd or 4th worst contract ever given to a player in the NFL.
Unless the Redskins overpay Kirk Cousins.
No, I think that any money. I think the Kirk Cousins could get $26 million right now, and that still wouldn't be as bad as giving Sam Bradford $26 million.
Oh god, Sam Bradford's trash.
At least you know Kirk Cousins can stay upright.
Yeah.
He's not made of confetti and glass.
Dang, man,
Tissue paper
confetti,
too.
though. I like me some confetti.
I mean, if
He gets sacked like a party popper. He gets sacked.
That's worth $26 million. I would pay $26 million to watch a man explode into confetti on a football field.
That's
Like
what's
there's
gonna
no
happen.
blood, there's no
That's what-
uniform left.
no,
It's just poof glitter.
That's what's gonna happen.
Watch out! I come out. I explode. Where my $26 million?
That's what happens when Von Miller hits him this season.
Right.
Okay, we got to move on. God, that was a good laugh.
Oh goodness.
Steph Curry now to a good player, guy that deserves the contracts he got. Oh, we'll just start.
Nah,
We'll just start at the top and work our way down because there's a lot of talking points. ESPN put him as 26th best all-time player.
I think he's 22nd because I think Kevin Durant's 23rd actually.
No, Kevin Durant was above him. I do
Durant?
know that. Yeah,
I got
I think
you.
he was 24th. I think Kevin Durant was 23rd. He was 24th, and what's the name? Isaiah Thomas was 25th or something like
I
that.
thought Isaiah was behind them.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But is that too high? Is that too low? Where does that fit him?
Is nobody else wants to go? Okay.
I mean, you can take it.
Well, like I'm gonna sit here super glued because, like, I think I'll tell you guys after we go.
So I don't understand. I don't see him why he's this high when he's had basically 3 really good seasons.
I'd say 2.
2. I mean, that first when he started coming up because then he was getting close to the record. Then he broke the record. Now he broke it again.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was rising. So I mean, you started to take notice to Steph Curry doing Steph Curry like things now. 3 seasons is like you mentioned earlier, is for a lot of players, it's a small sample size. You cannot make him the 22nd, that's what he is, best player of all time now, off of 3 seasons. That's what they're basing it off of. They're basing it off of 3 seasons. So having him at 22nd in the top 30, let's just say that since we don't have the exact number right now, top 30 is ridiculous. There's a lot of players whose careers just as a career has been a lot better than what Steph Curry 3 seasons has been.
I think it was disrespectful to put Isaiah Thomas under him. I mean, Isaiah Thomas went out there and played on one leg, literally, to win a finals game. Steph Curry, tweaks his ankle. He comes back, literally tweaks his ankle. He comes back in a regular game, hits a game-winning shot, and people go nuts. People went crazy.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous crazy. If he would have broke his leg, came out and won a game in the finals, oh my God. ESPN would break down.
Yeah.
They would shut down.
Yeah, Steph was 23.
They would be like, Steph
and just be like,
yeah, Steph
alert, Steph alert.
Yeah, Steph was 23 and Kevin Durant's 22.
That's too high for Kevin Durant too.
The reason I say because if you're gonna have somebody because I feel like they're based on as a scorer. We all agree they're kind of based on off as being this great scorer.
That's the next question then. Is he just a jump shooter with flashy handles, or is he actually an elite player?
I think he's an elite player because he's an elite player that has a great offensive arsenal with him. But I feel like that's the same thing kind of like an Allen Iverson type player, which is in the 40s. So I just don't understand this rankings. This rankings just
he got a ring.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
that's it. He's a flashy player because he hits a game-winning 3 at the end of the game. He's a flashy player because every single time somebody tries to guard him, he takes a step in, backs out, shoots that 3, and nails it every single time. That's That's it. I mean, it's the difference between him and Allen Iverson and Isaiah Thomas was that when a team looked at those two guys, they saw two guys on a team that worked really well together. When people look at Steph Curry, they see Steph Curry doing it all.
I don't know about that.
But that's how fans look at it. That's not how you and I look at it. When you're a fan sitting on your couch, who do you want to see shoot the ball?
Steph.
Right. Why? Because he's fun to watch shoot the ball.
Jimmer Fredette.
I like Jimmer Fredette, honestly. I really like Jimmer Fredette.
They should have gave him another 10-day contract, but they didn't.
So
disappointing.
That's so ridiculous in basketball.
I see him as a point guard because I don't look at point guard just as the new model point guard where everybody's like, you got to be able to score to be a great point guard, as we talked about earlier on the show. I do feel like even though his assist isn't as high as like the Rajon Rondos or the Chris Pauls or something, he still has the IQ of a great point guard. He still sees the opening. He still draws attention to get those passes out to like Klay Thompson, to Draymond Greens, to Harrison Barnes players. We see him make great passes, and a lot of his passes can be flashy, which makes him a flashy player. A lot of his handles can be flashy, and a lot of his shots are flashy shots that a lot of players don't shoot. But you can't take away that he's still a point guard that has good IQ on the basketball court.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can shut him down, though. And everybody's like, how are you going to shut him down? You guard him the length of the floor. You tire him out.
Because he doesn't get tired, though.
No, but yeah, no, it will. You put Russell Westbrook on him the entire length of the floor and then attack him. Yeah, he is too. But then you have Cameron Payne. But so is Curry. If Curry actually has to play defense, he's going to struggle to do both ends of the floor, to break a press and play defense. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, he's dead.
Dying.
But the thing is, if you do that with Curry, here's the thing. Most times, Curry's not guarding the best offensive player. He's not guarding Russell Westbrook. Klay Thompson is.
Or Draymond Green.
Yeah, or Draymond Green.
Okay, so who guards? So you're putting Steph Curry on like a less defender, like a Dion Waiters.
Yeah, they do it all the time. Yeah, exactly. They do that all the time with Steph Curry.
They hide him tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
If Steph played, they're going tomorrow.
Precisely. They hide him. Right now, they're playing the Clippers. I guarantee you Steph Curry's not guarding Chris Paul.
No. Thunder playing Clippers right now.
And they're
Sorry. I don't think Westbrook's on Chris Paul. I honestly don't think Westbrook's on Chris Paul.
Yeah, because most times these guys,
I don't think so.
They're not guarding each other. For most times, they have the best defender, the longest wing defender. Halftime when the Spurs played the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard guards Chris Paul. This is what happens. Steph Curry doesn't ever have to guard the best offensive point guard or shooting guard. Most times and then even if they guard him the full length of the court, the dude has endurance that he just runs other people ragged. And if you put your best defender on him guarding the whole length of the court, then
I mean, but I think that Westbrook has that same intensity and same like energy that he does to at least run defense. So say he guards somebody weak on defense, run the person he guards off a ton of screens, make him get hit by Steve Adams 5 times a possession. You rough him up and then play him the length of the floor. That's how you beat him. And there's not a lot of teams in the league that can do that.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
Steph, but see, there's a difference. If you make Westbrook play Steph Curry the whole court, whole game, the way Westbrook plays, his legs gonna give out a lot quicker than Steph. We've seen Steph sit in the gym and hit 100 straight 3-pointers. Legs don't get tired, arms don't get tired. It doesn't matter how much you run him because his mechanics are that great that it doesn't matter if his legs are tired. He played on a hurt ankle and dropped 31. Your
Westbrook played with a broke face.
What does it got to do with? I'm saying legs.
Leg wise, okay.
Your legs. It take when Westbrook goes for the basket, all that power he puts into the drives and everything. It takes a lot of his legs. Now, if you make him play full court defense and then attack the basket like that, he's not going to be efficient.
But they also got Kevin Durant who can do that. They got Kevin Durant who
can't beat him by Kevin can't beat the number by himself.
Kevin Durant could drop, but he can drop 40.
See how that creates mismatches, especially with a Draymond Green. Everybody on the Warriors lineup can post up. Klay Thompson can post up. Draymond Green posts up.
Sean Livingston can post up.
OKC's got a big lineup though. I mean, there's not. Hold on. Just to start, we're saying OKC because I mean, how many teams do you think could beat the the Warriors in a 7-game series?
How many?
Or at least be competitive. Yeah.
The Clippers, the Thunder, and the Spurs.
Yeah. So that's just why we're using Thunder. Like if you're sitting there, I don't even think Cleveland could. But I mean, I wasn't even thinking Cleveland could, but that's just why we were going with that. I just want to explain to people that that's why we use them as a team. But like, I don't think they have. If OKC plays right, they can beat them.
See, you're right. They can beat them. The only thing is the problem. One of the things that the notes I made sure I kept in my head. You said that they run him off a lot of screens. Whoever he's guarding off a lot of screens. The problem is most times that player isn't a player you want to even shoot the ball. You run that player off all those screens uselessly, so you're wasting shot clock.
But you just or you just have them do 3-point shots. Like you have a 3-point specialist like a Morrow or something like that.
Now that's actually something, but that still doesn't even drain Steph Curry on defense at time, because that time the Warriors switch everything. Because the Warriors,
but if they run off Steve Adams, there's no way Steph Curry stopping Steve Adams from going to the basket.
No, and that's why they get beat on the boards. The Warriors always have gotten beat on the boards. When they played the Thunder last time, they got beat 30 rebounds, but they still won. That's
because Durant was stupid and fouled out.
Yeah, I mean, but
I'm not gonna. No, it's not.
I mean,
there's a lot of mistakes
Steph Curry made
just a foul.
No, there were a lot of mistakes.
I mean, that game, the Thunder gave that to me. The Thunder gave that game was the Thunder's. If Kevin Durant just obviously holds on to the ball, or if somebody calls a timeout and helps him out or something, that game was, everybody was celebrating once Kevin Durant hit that late game 3. But the thing is, to me, it's just I feel as though it's one of those things that you can guard him the length of the court, or whoever you. I feel as though if you take Russell Westbrook and guard him the length of the court, that's going to tire out Westbrook a lot faster. Okay. Or you could put another defender on him and guard him the length of the court. The only problem is Steph Curry doesn't even need the ball to do his damage. He does his damage off ball half the time.
Right.
Back cuts, back screens.
So what about either half court, pick him up half court, because he's able to shoot anywhere inside the half court line. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know why OKC let him take that deep shot right there.
No idea.
I don't know why they didn't pick him up at half court. Yeah,
who
but also do a zone. We never see a zone in the NBA.
You can't zone.
You can do it.
You cannot zone that team.
Yes, you can.
They will shoot you out the zone. You can play a 3-2 zone. They'll shoot you out that zone.
No, they won't.
When all 5 players on the court can shoot, when they go small ball, you will get shot.
I'm telling. They go small ball, then they're gonna get destroyed on the other end of the floor.
By who?
By big men.
Who? Well, who's done it?
Nobody's done a 3-2. Nobody's done a 3-2 zone. I'm saying a 3-2 zone would throw something different at. You think they have an offense right now to attack a 3-2 zone? They don't work on that because nobody runs a zone in the NBA. You do a half court trap. Why haven't we seen the trap at the top?
Because Steph Curry has two great.
You saw at one point. That's when Draymond Green gets most of his assists, because people would trap Steph Curry. Draymond Green's only the roll guy. He's such a good enough playmaker and the Warriors are such a good enough moving team that when they try and trap Steph and Curry, he kicks the ball to Draymond Green. Draymond Green penetrates and makes the right play. Either he scores or he kicks it out.
After a while, they are going to make mistakes. Like you do that consistently, they're going to turn the ball over. And that's how you beat them, by turnovers and boards.
That is how you beat them. The only problem is they make few and far mistakes. The only times they made mistakes, they've only made mistakes technically 5 times this season, and 3 out of those 5 times.
The whole team didn't play.
Yeah, the team wasn't even fully healthy. So, and even in this Thunder game, they made mistakes and they still came out and won. No. So it's like, how do you beat a team like this? I mean, you could look at the tape from when they played Philadelphia and look at it and be like, oh, well, Philadelphia pushed them to the buzzer beater with Harrison Barnes having to hit a late game shot to win the game. But it seems as though like this team is just, they have like almost every answer to anything anybody wants to do. They shoot big men off the floor, it seems like. Even though I agree with what you're saying, that you keep your big men on the floor and pound the small guys off the court in the same way that they're going to shoot you off the court. But
I just think you hit Steph Curry with enough screens, he's gonna at some point give up on defense, because he's not gonna want to take all those hits. Because who would want to take all those hits on the defensive side? And then if you have a guy who can actually drain the shot, that's when it's dangerous. But if you don't have that, Ron, do you have anything to say, or you just chilling?
I'm waiting for the next thing.
Your grass is
on Steph or the MVP, the most important.
I'm gonna wait until we get to all the parts about could he be played in the old era.
All right, so
that's more or less my realm. Because I haven't watched, like, after Jordan retired, I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with basketball that much.
That's how old Ron is.
Yeah.
He's 100.
Say so. He's like,
I think your math is wrong there.
It's not. So MVP, Steph Curry.
He should be unanimous MVP. Yeah. If he's not a unanimous MVP, somebody's hating.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like there's no reason that somebody else other than Steph
Jimmy Butler.
No.
Stop. I was reading it and I was like, Ron, why would you do this? Like, why did you even put this on my page? Like,
I just love Jimmy Butler.
The man's not been playing right now.
What's that?
He's not been playing.
I know.
Right
it's just
I despise Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Get out of the NBA. I just can't stand it.
Rashad's reasons for disliking Jimmy Butler are so invalid, though.
I can't stand
it. It's because his name is Jimmy. I just hate Jimmy.
It's because people be saying he's like, I've had multiple people tell me he's better than Steph and LeBron.
Oh, well,
they'd rather take him as coach.
You don't need to be mad at him. You need to be mad at the people that told you that.
Because they used him.
Because they use him. You can't blame him for people.
He's not that nice.
He does deserve most
improved player, Steph Curry.
He does deserve, but he's not going to get it.
I don't.
But because look at his, he's averaging over 7 more points. This season, his player efficiency rating is unworldly.
I think there's
24 games to go.
I think there's better people out there that can get it. No, that's insane. I think there's better people. If he won it, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be like, what are you doing? I just think there are better options.
But see, here's the thing: are we only saying that because he was an MVP last year? Is that if Stephen Curry wasn't the MVP last year, would you say he doesn't deserve most improved?
Because like I'd say Westbrook improved this year and he didn't win it last. He's averaging 20. He's averaging 20, 10, and 7 this year. That's never happened in a season since Oscar Robinson did it.
LeBron James. Oh, not 10, but
27 and 2010 and 7 since Oscar Robinson. He like people go Steph Curry's the most fun to watch. I agree. I think Westbrook's second on that list.
No, Westbrook is fun to watch, but when your player efficiency rating could break the record of a single season record and your efficiency rating is how much better your team plays on the court when you're on there. And he's improved his team that much. They won 66 games last year. They're already a quarter of the way already there, and they're still 23. Yesterday they played, so 23 games left in the season. That's crazy. And they're already 75% of the way there, like that, or 80% of the way there. That's unworldly. And they're threatening the Bulls record. Like, how much better could they have gotten? And he's made them that much better. People were asking last year how much better could they have gotten, and he's made them that much better. He's shown them how much better he got. He's been more efficient from 3-point range. He's shooting 57. I mean, I'm writing an article on Steph right now, and if you calculate primarily his 2-point attempts. On 2-point attempts, the only people that are shooting a higher percentage than him are Dwight Howard, Hassan Whiteside, and Andre Drummond. He's 4th in the league if you just calculate 2-point percentage, field goal percentage. That's unworldly. He's shooting as much as higher percentage from mid range and around the paint as big men. So he's improved like drastically. That's the only thing about Steph, because he's not just a 3-point shooter. The guy can do everything. He can pass. He rebound. He's one of the best rebounding guards up there with Russell Westbrook. Rajon averages like 3 or 4 rebounds.
No, I mean, I just think like CJ McCollum's been dirty this year.
No, CJ McCollum has been.
He's not improved this.
Wait, he went from 6.8 points last year to 20.9. He's up 2 assists pretty much.
Look how much his minutes went up.
Quadrupled his steals.
Look how much his minutes went up.
Yeah, but also think about it. When at the beginning of this year, Portland was seen as a team that was tanking to get draft pick. And now they're a team that beat the Warriors, and they look like they could at least do some sort of damage in the playoffs.
I have a question for you. Is it easier to go up 6-20 or 23-30? Which one's easier? Which one's easier to do?
I mean, when you're shooting, over 12 3-pointers a game.
Which one's easier to do, though?
Hold on.
You're telling me if you're averaging 6 points, it's harder to go to 20 points than it is to go from 23 to 30 points?
From 6 to 20 is harder, yes.
It's not harder.
Why is that not harder?
Because the league averages 15 points per game.
Okay, so he
became a starter.
And he got more minutes, and all of his stats improved.
Because he became a starter.
But here's the thing: Steph averages 30, and he sat out. I don't know how 15 or 16 fourth quarters. 15 fourth. And last year he sat out half of his fourth quarters as well. Imagine if Steph played out all these fourth quarters, and that's crazy. He's playing he's scored 30 or so points in games that he hasn't even finished or hasn't even played a minute in the fourth quarter. That's unreal.
Yeah, but he also gets those open looks and everything because the entire team is dangerous. That opens up the floor.
But that's because of him.
But that's also because his whole team can hit shots. If it was just him in the 76ers squad, he wouldn't get as many open shots.
He'd still get his shots.
He'd still get his shots up.
Like about 25 points a game.
You're right, because having Klay Thompson plays a part in that too. But they can all hit shots. But you can make the same case for CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, because having Damian Lillard right next to him helps him also.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, they lost their dude in
LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Nicholas Batum.
I mean, they lost a ton of people. Like I think he deserves it. And again, if Curry wins, I'm not going to be upset. Like I'll be like, okay, I can see how it is because all your points are valid.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think he's the number one option for that.
I see your point too. See, I just we just don't agree on it.
Yeah.
We just don't agree on it. Yeah. See,
and Ron's sitting there just doodling on his paper.
No, he's writing notes.
No, he's literally just doodling.
No,
he just drew a stick figure.
He's writing his notes.
So about this era.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the next one is he ruining the game?
Oh.
Yeah. So people think Steph's ruining the game. Ron, I know you can talk on this, Ron. This is a talking point you can do.
I hate hearing this so much.
Ron's old, so we'll get his view.
I don't understand. I guess I've just never understood the whole argument of you're ruining a game, no matter what sport you're talking about. I mean, if you bring something new or you bring something that is revolutionary to the game in general, I don't see how you're ruining the game. You're progressing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to say that Steph Curry is ruining the game because he never goes into the paint, never drives it down, he just shoots from the perimeter all the time, that you can say that, I guess. And that's your opinion.
That's false. That's the sad thing.
But his ability, his ability to shoot,
right?
His ability to shoot is it's unparalleled. So I don't care.
He was looking at Steph's layup in the air.
That was Steph's layup.
Yeah.
He like throws it up and then it's
from like the 3-point line.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with any player in any sport changing the game, making another team have to work harder at in the competition of defending you. I mean, why? Like that's like saying that Cam Newton is ruining football.
People think that.
People do think that, and they're wrong. That's their opinion, and their opinion is wrong.
I wish Michael was.
Does he think that?
Michael thinks. Well, he just doesn't like Cam Newton.
No, but okay.
He doesn't like Steph neither.
The only problem I see with Steph and the 3-point thing is now when you go to now when you go to a gym, you're not like to watch pickup games. Nobody takes a shot inside the 3-point line. That's the only problem I see with it. He's not ruining the game. I just think the game will evolve to where big men are obsolete. Which is fine. I don't care. The game's just evolving. Ruining is not the right word.
I think everything works on a rotation.
Yeah, it's kind of all right. So this is how I feel about it. So like, this is where you pinpoint who really wants it now. You have those people who just go to the pickup games, just shoot 3-pointers now, and then you have those people who still go to college and run a team offense where you have big men and everything like that.
Yeah, but
and then you understand that there's people who still work on their game the right way instead of just shooting threes because they understand not everybody has to give to this Steph Curry from 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
You're just weeding out everybody else who think they're great and now they're not going nowhere. So
I mean, you look at it and you go, all right, if there's not going to be big men anymore, and eventually the NBA shifts to that, okay, well, 5 to 10 years down the road, when we have 30 teams full of Steph Currys, and then there's the one team who drafts all Shaqs and comes out and dominates a team defensively because you can't shoot over them. They block every shot. They dominate anything inside the 3-point line, and then you can't go over them, and your only option is to shoot threes, and you have 5 guys who can't even get down into the paint. Fine. I mean, because eventually, like I said, it works on rotation.
Yeah,
everybody said the same thing about the NFL. People have said the same thing about hockey, about how you need an enforcer. You can't be on the ice without a big man that's able to body check. And I mean, the Blackhawks and all them proved that wasn't the case. That you can win without one. And I get that.
Yeah,
just like you can say, okay, your quarterback has to be a guy who stands in the pocket, who accurately passes, who gets the ball to his receiver, who goes through his reads. That's not true. We've seen Russell Wilson and Cam Newton both go to Super Bowls in the last 5 years, and without being traditional quarterbacks.
And Peyton Manning, more rushing touchdowns in the past 2 years than RG3.
Well,
yeah.
Fun fact.
I'm just saying is that you can't sit.
Well,
everything works on rotation. They're not ruining the game. They're progressing it, and eventually
it'll balance out.
It'll balance back out in the end.
I think from the perspective of, I remember when Mark Jackson initially said this on the ABC telecast. I remember his reasoning for saying this, and I can understand what he's saying, because he's saying now that he walks into a gym and you see all the kids immediately run to the 3-point line and start hoisting threes. But what the kids don't realize is, because think about it, all these kids are growing up watching Steph, and they're like, oh, we all want to be like Steph. And so all these kids are running to the 3-point line hoisting threes, but they don't realize Steph has so many more facets to his game than just his 3-point shooting. So I think, and what he's saying that he's ruining the game is that he's making these new generation kids think that it's all about the 3-point shooting when Steph does it all. Steph can hit mid-range. Steph can finish at the rim. Steph has the handle, as good a handle as anybody. Steph has the basketball IQ. So I think that's I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think that's the point that they're making, or he was making, when he's saying that he's ruining the game. I don't think it's he's saying he's running the game as far as the big men being transitioned out of it. I don't think big men will ever be transitioned out of basketball because
you need him down. You need him down low.
Yeah, you need somebody to rebound the ball. You're not going to have this game's not going to become. There's going to always be a guy that's going to be like 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot, whatever.
Every team will always have one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're not going to get transitioned out of basketball. Now, how many of those? Because people act like now that big men are all just on the perimeter shooting threes. No, they're not on the perimeter shooting threes. Anthony Davis, the reason why Anthony Davis is so great because he can do almost everything. He can shoot threes. He can shoot mid-range. He can post up. He can face up and dribble to the basket. DeMarcus Cousins has a post-up game. He can shoot threes. He can face up. He can do all this. So I don't think big men are being phased out the game. I just think they're expanding their game so that they incorporate the three-point shot also. But I think that's the angle that Mark Jackson was getting at when he said he feels as though Steph is ruining the game.
See, can I say
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So kind of, all right, so Brendan, your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as much as he practice, he doesn't just go in the gym and shoot threes. We can sit here and say that, right?
Yeah.
And you won't allow him to just go in there and shoot threes.
Mm-mm.
And none of his coaches or anything will allow him to shoot threes.
Mm.
So you see those people who really, because your brother's trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
You see people who really trying to make it, who understand that it's not about threes. So what Mark Jackson is saying, I mean, you have kids that just play, but you also have like the people that really wants to make it, that's gonna work on their games, just like Steph Curry works on his all-around game in a sense. So I don't think it's ruining the game. It's just limiting the future for everybody else.
But the thing is, for those, this isn't for kids. Because my little brother didn't grow up watching Steph. He's at a point. My little brother's at an age now. He's seen Kobe. He saw Chris Paul. Chris Paul was the main guy he saw. So Chris Paul's what he's envisioning to be like. Some of these kids are 5, 6 watching Steph. So Steph is their first embodiment of a star, of how you are great on the top level. And they're seeing him hoisting threes and shooting threes. So they're like, if I can shoot threes well, hey, maybe I can be like Steph. So they're all running out there and shooting threes before they're mastering ball handling, dribbling drills, finishing a layup, being able to finish at the rim through contact, being able to, dribble looking up, not looking at the ball. That's what he's saying. He's saying a lot of these kids are trying to master the wrong thing first. That a lot of these kids don't even have their shooting motion down. They're still pushing the ball, trying to be like Steph. Like they don't even know how they're going to shoot. And they're just shooting threes. They can master so many different facets of the game. It's something that Kobe Bryant's spoken to too. That's why he talks about European players. European players are more skilled than the American players, because he feels as though American players aren't taught the right things. He feels like the American big man, all big. If you're 6 foot when you're in 5th grade, they're going to automatically make you a big man. Mm-hmm. They're not going to teach you handling drills. They're not going to teach you how to shoot. They're going to say, get down there, get rebounds, and learn how to shoot a hook shot. Mm-hmm. But then what if you cap at that height? Now you can't dribble. Now you can't shoot. So now you're just a 6 foot dude that you never learned all around skills. But that's what Kobe was alluding to when he was talking about European, and that's what Mark Jackson, I believe, is saying also.
You look at when they're talking about ruining the game, you look at history in that sense. Everybody said the same thing about Michael Jordan dunking from the foul line. Mm-hmm. Everybody said the same thing about Stockton to Malone. Mm-hmm. Everybody said the same thing about Magic and the way that he played. Mm. The trend has always followed who's popular, what's going to happen, what's happening right now. Coaches, and it's not even as bad now as it was back in the 80s and 90s after MJ and Pippen and Rodman and all that. When they were winning championships, coaches were coaching their teams that way. Mm-hmm. They were trying to pick the players. Who's my Pippen? Who's my Rodman? That's actually how they coach. Yeah. And it's honestly the reason I stopped playing basketball. Yeah. Because I didn't fit into that category. I was a short, fat, white guy.
You're a Bill Laimbeer.
who had strong hands and whose only real talent was I could jump really high for being as small as I was. Mm-hmm. I could rebound the ball. And I knew how to check pass like if I was the most accurate passer out there.
Wait, I have a question. Could you dunk?
No.
Oh, okay.
I could not, but I could rebound. Yeah. Because I was bigger than everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I was the big man out there. I just was a little bit shorter than most.
You're just like a big man.
Yeah, but I could enforce down. I could box out like no one's business. But the problem is that trends always follow. So if people are like, oh, I want to, if kids are like, oh, I want to shoot like Steph Curry, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen with any player out there.
I can't say that because there's some things that are just God given. Steph Curry is a God blessed shooter. His handle is Steph Curry is a perfect culmination of everything, like just having everything. He just doesn't have the athleticism. That we've waited for the next Michael Jordan. The closest thing we saw was arguably Kobe Bryant, which we're gonna get to eventually, but was arguably Kobe Bryant or
3 a.m.
Right.
Kobe is the greatest. Let's go home.
But was arguably Kobe Bryant, but we still haven't gotten that Michael Jordan player. So just because I feel like you can go out there and shoot as many threes as you want and you can practice, but there's only one Steph Curry. There's only going to be Klay Thompson you could argue is as good as a shooter as Steph, but he doesn't have the handle as Steph. He's just as good as a marksman.
Klay can't create his own shot like Steph can.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why there's only one Steph Curry, but Klay shoots the ball just as accurate.
What I see the people that want to shoot 3-pointers and want to be like Curry end up being is like a Kyle Korver, like or JJ Redick.
Yeah,
that's literally their entire game. They have to run off a screen. They can't create their own shots. They can't really handle the ball that well. They just shoot a deadly 3-point shot when open.
And I think that was Mark Jackson's point. He's like, to be like Steph, you have to do it all. Like you can't just be a shooter.
But that's not what I was saying. I was saying when they're talking about trends, when they're talking about how kids are, he's ruining the game because kids are going to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are going to imitate what he does. That's always happened, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's always going to happen.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying we're going to find the next Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that we've ever found the next Michael Jordan. What I'm saying is that's always going to happen. So if you're going to say that Steph Curry has ruined the game, you would honestly have to say it about Magic, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, every single one of those people who had something that was deadly about them.
Yeah.
You would have to say that though they all ruined the game too, because kids all wanted to be able to do what they wanted, what they did too.
See, that's what Mark Jackson. Hey, Mark Jackson, man.
All right, yeah. We're gonna move on because this topic's gonna take just as long
as Johnny,
but still not as long as Johnny Manziel. The old NBA versus the new NBA. Could Curry play in the old NBA? And I just have like something I heard that's interesting. Talent-wise, yes. Medically, no. You think about the arthroscopic knee surgery or ankle surgery and like the ankle braces he has right now that were custom made. They didn't have that back then. So like talent-wise, I think he could, but like injury-wise, he'd be doomed because his ankles are made of styrofoam.
Styrofoam, bro.
His ankles are weak.
I know, man, but I
mean, it looked like his ankle literally broke off in the OKC game.
That can happen to anybody. I mean,
but I'm just saying, like he's had
he has chronic ankle issues.
So that being said, I think he's not gonna have those really nice ankle braces, and he's not gonna be able to have like arthroscopic where the precision's only this big. I mean, that would be the biggest downfall to him. But if you give me like a healthy Steph Curry, I don't see why not. Steve Kerr did well, and Steve Kerr couldn't dribble the ball that well. So you give me a better version of a Steve Kerr that would play on a team. I mean, I don't think he'd be able to go up against Mike and beat Mike, but I think he'd be pretty good.
See, here's the thing, because when it comes to this old NBA versus, I just don't understand why people are acting like, because I feel as though as a superstar, you would adapt to the generation you're in. Steph would adapt to the generation he's in. So it's not like he would just get to the old rules and just become a flop. Like, there's no way. He's a superstar. His 3-point Larry Bird wasn't a flop, and he wasn't. It's not like Larry Bird was the most muscular guy. Steve, like you said,
Larry Bird was a nerd on a basketball court. All right, but he just played.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? John Stockton wasn't the biggest guy. The man's the leading assister of all time. These guys weren't the biggest dudes. Man. Yeah, like these guys weren't the biggest dudes, but they still were able to play in that era. So when people talk about, oh, we would have hit Steph, yeah, you would have hit him and he would have got right back up and shot his free throws. He shoots 90% from the free throw line. So what would you have done? You're gonna push him when he's shooting a 3? That's a foul, bro. I mean, I get that you're gonna be way more rough with him when he gets into the paint and everything. But unless you're telling me you're gonna flat out injure Stephen Curry, he's still gonna get up and do what he does on an average night in, night out basis. Now with hand checking, I don't understand this huge anomaly as like hand checking all of a sudden makes everybody guardable, because Steph still has that handle to get by people. Yes, hand checking does slow you down, but he's still just as quick and he's just as lethal off the ball with hand checking. Now you do get physical and it does wear you down, but like I said, I feel like he would have adjusted, he would have adapted to that kind of play back then. He would have been conditioned for that if he's going to be this kind of player. And then people, you're still, and the thing is, defenses weren't as adept. Like people didn't run as many zones as they do now, as they like back, or they didn't run zones back then like they do now.
Yeah.
The whole everything on the NBA. And I don't understand how athletes become better. Yet the old generation of athletes was better than this new generation. I don't get it. Like athletes have become more. We never had a LeBron James before.
Yeah, this happens in every sport though.
Yeah, it does.
It happens in everything. I think that the biggest thing you can point out about all the comments and everything was what Magic said, which is that if Steph had to play in their time, he thinks that they could have beat him easy.
Yeah.
But if Magic and his crew had to play now, he said that he thinks Steph Curry could beat him.
Yeah.
Because the rules are so much different.
Yeah.
And that's progression of a sport.
Yeah.
And like you said, like you can't look at how athletes get better in time and say, oh, they wouldn't stand a chance in that time. That's like NFL players saying, oh, that they wouldn't stand a chance in our time. Really, JJ Watt would have murdered. He would be in prison for murder for the things he would do on a football field in the 1970s.
Yeah, man.
All right.
He's a freak athlete.
So like I don't understand that per se. I think that and I can't understand how everybody's going to say that one player would be so unsuccessful. No,
yeah,
I mean
it's legit only Steph.
If you
it's
put
only Steph, Steph and the Warriors, that's it.
Not his team, no nothing. I mean, if you put him on any of the teams, the Bulls, the Lakers with Magic, Lakers with Kareem, Lakers with Kobe. I mean, you put him on any one of those teams win 10 more championships. I mean, because he's that much better. He's an additional. He's a person. He's not the Warriors. He's a freaking person.
I think team-wise, I think they would probably get wrecked. I don't think so. Not okay. The 1999-2000 Lakers with Shaq and Kobe.
But see, that's different. You just take one of the most dominant big men of. Yeah, but not every team has a big man like that.
Shaq. You gotta remember, Shaq could run the floor.
I'm not saying they'd. Okay, no. Let me rephrase. They would get destroyed by the better teams. I think that team would get destroyed. I think they'd get beat by the Bulls, the Celtics, the Lakers for sure, without a doubt. Depending on the year, you had the Spurs.
Jazz.
What?
Probably the Jazz way back, but that's
you got the 76ers, you got Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they make I think that Curry could play in that era, but I think if you give me the small ball lineup they play versus like back then, I don't know.
See, here's the deal with that. You
ain't said nothing. I was waiting for you, so go ahead.
So when you hear this old NBA, new NBA thing, they say because the physicality of the league. But if you look at it, Steph doesn't have to go to the basket. Steph can just he has a great mid-range shot. He has a great three-point shot. And that scoop layup, he doesn't even be that close. So he's not really going to get as much contact. Like he doesn't get that much contact now. So as you see, it's he can fit in that team. And with the whole team as a whole, I don't think remember, no team was built to run like this team is. Back in the old NBA. No team was built to run like this. They would just run those teams. Yeah. And they're so versatile. They just spread the floor out.
Shaq's heart would explode.
But I do think the other teams would be more successful to slow it down. Though.
Yeah, well,
they would be because all the big men could score. But
all the big men. But who's going to guard them on defense?
Well, yeah, I mean that would be a problem.
It's going to be an offensive game.
But who's gonna guard like Kobe?
Klay Thompson.
That's what he's saying.
Kobe dropped 81.
He did. It's going to be a game. Every game's going to be 120 points, and everybody's going to die on the basketball court. Yeah. Like that's what's going to happen
from either hard fouls or hard.
See, that's the thing because that's the thing. Everybody uses it in the context of who's going to guard this person in that era. Well, who's going to guard Steph? Yeah, who's going to guard Klay? Who's going to guard a Draymond Green? And then it's not like they don't have big men on the roster. They do got big men on the roster. I mean, Andrew Bogut's there for a reason. When they play the big teams, if they need to go big, I mean, Andrew Bogut's not no Kareem now. That's not. Yeah.
I mean, you got players that's gonna cook. You got the legends that's gonna cook.
But it's like those legends have to guard. I like to see Magic guard Stephen Curry the whole game with Steph running around everywhere. And
there's only one team that I think they would struggle that most against, and that is the Bulls, because I think the Bulls were the only team
The
that had it.
The 99 2000 Lakers.
I think that the Bulls
They
were the only
don't-
ones that had
the-
enough
the-
completion
Yeah.
in their entire roster to do it. The
The
Lakers
Bulls and the
had-
Pistons for me.
Right, the
I say
Lakers.
the Bulls and the
The
Pistons.
Lakers
With
did
Lambeer
have
and
Kobe
them.
and they had Shaq, but outside of those two guys, the team wasn't as complete as the Bulls and the Pistons were.
That's because I feel like
But
a
I
lot
think
of times
Kobe would just get in a scoring battle with Steph, and Kobe
Yes,
would win.
but see, established that.
Here's the deal with the Bulls. I even don't see Scottie Pippen guarding Steph Curry the whole game and can contain him the whole game.
I think they
but
put
had
Jordan
more-
on
they
it.
had more
defender.
roster to
They
deal with.
do, but
They had more talent in the,
see,
in
yeah,
the back
but
end
the Bulls,
roster.
for me, the Bulls had Ron Harper
Right.
and those guys that could guard Steph. Like
And
Ron
then
Harper wasn't the
rotation.
offensive threat,
But
so
they-
they could put him on him.
but we've
So-
seen even when Steph's contained that.
No,
other
but
players can do that.
I get what you're saying, because I feel like a superstar, you hope to contain a superstar. But I'm saying they have somebody that can guard him. That's what I'm just saying. I agree. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying they had somebody that the Bulls actually had someone. They're like, hey, guard him.
I think
You know what I'm
Jordan would
saying?
guard him. I think they'd put Jordan
Yeah,
on
he
him.
That's
would guard him, but
exhausting.
Yeah, but Jordan-
you lose your
but-
biggest scoring threat right there.
Yeah, but Jordan would be the guy that just gets mental. Like he would be locked
I
in.
and,
the
agree.
and,
guard.
that, and
I
that's
agree.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, Russell Westbrook can't do that because he won't be able to be as efficient as a scorer.
Right.
You can't take Jordan off.
Yeah,
his
you'd
scoring.
lose that, but I still
Who's going to
think-
score?
Yeah, but Westbrook isn't at the level of Jordan.
He's not. He's not at the level of Jordan. But who's going to score?
Jordan would still get his points.
He's not getting 30 a game playing full. That's
Who's,
have you noticed- have you noticed-
who's
He
guarding
did do
him? Who's
He
guarding
did.
him?
But guarding Steph Curry though, think about it. Is
he-
Steph Curry running you like that?
No,
But think
yeah,
about-
I know,
put
but
it this way.
I just
Look
remember
at-
Jordan
look
did do
at-
against
look at-
Magic.
Look
though.
at Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Look at Jimmy Butler.
Oh, we're taking the worst player in the league, right?
Jimmy
I hate Jimmy Butler.
Butler!
Jimmy Butler plays the whole game and supposedly guards the best player every night, but
No.
barely averages 20. See what I'm saying? Most of it takes a lot
Yeah,
to
but
guard somebody
Jordan
the whole
was
game.
is Jordan. Like there's no other
You're right,
comparison.
it's Jordan.
So
Jimmy
that's what.
Butler's the
Who's
unsung hero
guarding?
of
Who's
basketball.
so who's guarding Jordan from the Warriors?
Klay Thompson can guard on. Draymond Green can guard on. I mean,
See,
you're not going to
I still think Jordan's gonna put up his numbers.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Jordan's still gonna do his
Yeah.
I
thing.
just think the team
It's
is
just-
deeper.
I just
The
don't
Bulls
think.
were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
deeper.
I think the Bulls would have beat the Warriors. I think, but
That's
I
the
just don't.
answer.
But this analog that the Warriors stood no chance
No, I
back
don't,
then. I just don't agree with
I
that
don't
because
think anybody's
Right.
sitting here saying that.
they,
I
they
don't
do.
think- I don't think
No,
most
people
people
say
I
that.
think the
No,
Warriors
yeah.
didn't win a championship back then.
The greats say that. Like Oscar Robertson saying coaches don't know what they're doing nowadays.
Yeah.
Steph is only. He said Steph is merely a product of today's rules.
Yeah.
He really doesn't believe Steph would do this back in the day. A lot of them don't believe Steph would do
No,
it.
I know.
Kareem doesn't.
Barkley came out and said it. Barkley
Yeah.
said that's why I got the. Barkley said he's a flashy passer and shoot, or flashy dribbler and shooter. That's it.
Yeah, they none of them believe he could do this back in their day. But I'm like, dude, you can't take
Build a
away his
time
shooting
machine.
ability. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Build one.
you can't take away his shooting ability. You can't take away his dribbling ability unless them people are telling me. I mean, if you're gonna get rough physical with Steph, but a lot of these players don't realize they can get physical back. You want to get physical with Draymond
Yeah,
Green?
no.
Like that's a rough dude.
Although
you know what
I-
I'm saying, like,
I'm taking Rodman over Green. If
no,
there's a
I would
fight.
take Dennis
If
Rodman.
there's a
too,
fight,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
or Bill Laimbeer.
Dennis
I'm taking-
Rodman
Scary
is
in
something
general, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Now Steph and Clay, them dudes, they pretty boys. You know, they're not getting into no scuffles,
And
but
Rodman hangs out with Kim Jong Il.
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
oh
do
yeah,
it.
he does.
over
Yeah,
in
he
North
does.
Korea,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh,
He's
Oh,
over there
man.
and plays basketball
I
games
saw the
with Kim
picture with him
Jong.
and everything.
all right.
Oh, KJ.
Right.
Well, all right. So we've been talking on the Warriors. Will they top that mark of the Bulls team, the
Yes.
72 wins?
I'll go to jail first.
Yeah, Ron,
You wrote that there.
so I talked to Ron, and he said he will murder Steph Curry before it happens. So
Yes,
he'll go to
that
jail.
is. Yes, I will. I will be in prison for the rest of my life before I
Yeah.
let them beat the Bulls.
Okay, FBI is not listening to this.
You won't have it.
Thank you for tuning in to the first ever round table where Ron just said he's going to murder Steph Curry.
Yeah, right. Please don't.
His name is Ronald Rugg. He just started giving out his social security number on air.
Hold up, let me give it. Credit's terrible.
Yeah, but
They'll-
72 wins. Do they top it?
Probably.
See, this when we talked about this on our show, I said if it comes down to the Spurs being the reason they don't get the record, like it comes to they got to beat the Spurs to get the record, they won't get it because as we saw, Greg Popovich will not let a record get broken. If we saw an All-Star game with Paul George, he would not let a record get broken. That team would not lose to the Warriors if it comes to that game breaking the record.
Yeah, we'll see a Nancy Kerrigan ankle. Like, so we'll wake up in the morning.
Dang, bro.
It'll be 71 wins. They'll wake up in the
He's a
morning. You'll
nasty
see Steph
character.
Curry on the ground. Why?
Come on.
Why?
No, but I mean, I think they get it now. I think if they would have lost to Oklahoma City last week,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same.
if they would have lost to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City last week, I would have said, yeah, they're going to lose a couple games because that would have been what, 2 games in 3 games,
Yeah,
like 2
3
losses
days.
in 3 games or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 3 games.
but now at this point, they only have 5 losses. You're
But
telling me
they're
they have 5 losses to play with?
They play the Thunder tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's at Golden State.
But
I'm a Thunder-
potentially no Steph and no Andre Iguodala.
If no Steph plays, if Steph doesn't play, they lose that game. But if Steph plays, they win even without Iguodala. And I'm an OKC fan, they lose. OKC loses. And they have 5 games to play with. So even if they lose to OKC, they're running out of tough games because I think that's the end of their series with OKC.
That is.
I think they got to play the Spurs one more time and the Blazers one more time. Other than that, they got like the Suns 6 times.
Yeah.
We could go out there and
Hey,
beat the Suns.
Texting Tanya Harding right now.
I said it on the show. don't watch out for Kobe. Watch out for Kobe.
This man Rashad believes that
Watch
in
out for Kobe.
Kobe's last game against the Warriors that we will beat the Warriors and Kobe will go off for like how much did you say?
100.
I said like.
He's gonna score 100 points and then
He's-
jump on his
he
white
said he was gonna score, like-
unicorn horse and ride out the stadium.
He said he was going to
Into
score
the
like
sunset?
30-some points.
Oh,
Like,
come
He's
on,
going to
dude.
score 100 points and then kiss Papa John's.
oh, man. Come on. Come
I
on.
want Shaq to be there, and I want them to like embrace and hug. And Shaq, like,
Embrace?
lift him up off the court, you know. And, like,
I'd rather
just
see.
like hold him like a little stuffed animal, you know.
Oh, my
Like,
gosh. Ron, come on,
I
man.
want to
Come
see
on.
Kobe try to lift Shaq.
Oh, God. You get injured right there.
Shaq in a fool right there.
He died. They'd be like, he'd score 100 points and die.
Yeah, like, he
On
would
the
just drop
court.
to the ground. Like he wouldn't be able to function anymore.
I mean, we talked about all that. We don't really need to go. Last question on the Warriors, and then we'll move on to Kobe. Steve Kerr, is he just a good coach, or is he just kind of a product of what was put there?
I think they should never got rid of Mark Jackson. Honestly,
So you think he just
He's
embraced
there.
what he got?
I mean, Luke Walton did it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, like Steve Kerr did like changing the lineups and everything. He did make stuff happen, but at the same time, it's still the same team. The players is who play, and it's not really a system there. I mean, if you want to call that a system, you can call it a system. I don't think it's a system in my
Yeah, I
eyes.
don't think they run an offense. I think it's a find an open man and chuck it up from 50 feet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What do you think,
I saw
Brennan?
they had no reason to give.
I think they have an. I mean, they run a system. It's similar to the Spurs offense. It's a free flow offense, but it revolves around a lot of pick and roll and a lot of back screens. Exactly the same thing the Spurs do, but the Spurs just don't have the exact same sharpshooters. If you watch the Spurs do a lot of the same thing, but they play kind of in and out more so than the Warriors do. Where the Warriors play outside more of the time than the Spurs have. But I think Steve Kerr did take on a really fortunate situation. I mean, he evaluated it obviously when he had the option to go here or the Knicks. And
Should have went
obviously
to the Knicks, man. The Knicks look good.
Oh, okay.
First stops.
But he honestly made the right choice. But I can't just take away credit from Steve Kerr because he's the one that decided to put Draymond Green in the starting lineup. He's the one that made maximize on Draymond Green's talent. He's the one that decided to relegate Andre Iguodala to the bench and essentially help that bench become what it is now. Because we never were talking about how deep the Warriors were until they came under Steve Kerr and they played at such a high level. So I mean he did. Now Mark Jackson had a big part in this team being constructed the way it is, but Steve Kerr helped maximize on the talent that he had in front of him. So
See, this is kind of like the Jeff Fisher, Steve Young talk thing we had, kind of like the building the players and type stuff. No.
wait,
He,
what?
he might be a little bit more of like the Gary Kubiak, where you fall into a situation of you came into a house that was built for you.
Mhm.
That might be the case, but as we've seen with lots and lots of teams in every sport, is that no matter who you have, you still have to put that together.
Definitely.
All right,
Yeah.
and granted, having Steph Curry is a very, very nice,
It's a bonus.
it's a very nice bonus to
Yeah.
have in there.
It's a good head start.
But I no matter how you look at it, there's never going to be, I don't think, a team that, even no matter how good or bad the coach is coming in, if they can't put it together, they're going to lose. And if they can put you can have degrees of that. You can be like, you can have a coach come in and kind of put it together and still win a lot, but you can't have a coach come in and kind of not put it together and still win a lot.
Yeah.
Side note, OKC is just dogging the Clippers.
Yeah.
85-68.
When I saw it earlier, they was being pretty bad.
We'll move on from that because I think everybody kind of agrees in a way. There's a little bit of here and there, but Kobe, his farewell tour. Good to see him go. Where is his place? Where is his place in history? Not where is he sitting right now? Apparently, Ron thinks it should be prison.
Stop. All right, those were notes for you guys.
But where is his place in history besides jail ball? Apparently,
Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, where does he rank? We all agree he's a Hall of Famer, but where does he rank on the all-time list?
Top 5.
Number 2.
I don't know if I can put him number 2, but because I have a tough time with the top 5 people because all of them kind of interchange with me, but because they're all there for different reasons. But if I'm going to put him top 5 group,
this is a shout out to my brother because he made a good point. If everybody always said Jordan, like Kobe is Jordan 1 and basically Kobe's Jordan 2, and Jordan's the best player, how can Kobe not be number 2 if he's basically Jordan 2?
Because Kobe's not as good.
But if you're saying that's the only player you're saying basically Jordan 2.
They're saying that he's Jordan 2 because he's as competitive as Jordan, and his game is modeled after Jordan. But the problem is he just wasn't as good as Jordan. Jordan's numbers were far superior to Kobe's, and Jordan was more efficient than Kobe. Jordan did what he did in a shorter career span than Kobe, and Jordan even in Jordan's younger years, Jordan never. I think even when he was a Wizard, he didn't even average under 20 points. The man was 40 and scored 50.
Never averaged under 20 this season.
Kobe's averaged under 20 multiple.
What, his rookie season?
His rookie and the season after that, and then I think these are 3 seasons. These are 3 seasons that he's averaged under 20. But even Kobe's 38. Jordan was 40, and Jordan averaged 20 and multiple. I think he averaged like 25 and 5. I think, and Kobe right now is averaging less than 3 or 4 assists. I think he's averaging right about 4 or 5 rebounds. And he's shooting 30-some% from the field. Jordan still shot 45% even when he was 40.
So where do you have Kobe on your list?
Top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah, I'd say top 10.
it's not like
no.
Everybody acts like that's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, top 10 is great.
Yeah, there's been so many NBA players. I'm a Laker fan. But
putting him outside the top 10 like they did this year was a travesty.
I have him
I
over LeBron.
Yeah, I have him over LeBron too.
So wherever you put LeBron, ESPN puts LeBron 2, so then Kobe has to be 1, and then Jordan's 0.
Do you put LeBron at 2?
No,
he's the same. For example, like
No.
if ESPN put
ESPN
LeBron's,
put LeBron at 1, so therefore I would say Jordan or Kobe's 1 and Jordan's 0. Like that would have to be the list.
Yeah, he's the same.
That's why I said he's top 5.
I mean, ESPN
because
had him 3.
It's tough to
ESPN had LeBron 3.
It's tough to rank players
that's right.
based on their attributes because you look at like I would put Kareem up there for a much different reason than I would put Michael Jordan in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put Kobe in there. Or I mean, Kobe and Michael Jordan are probably the closest comparison of 2 players, but all the other players are in there for a completely different reason.
Yeah.
When you look at top 10, if I told somebody I was going to put John Stockton in the top 10, a lot of people will laugh. But that dude, I mean, watch it. Every single shot, every single assist he made, I mean, was amazing. I mean, the guy is an assist master.
Yeah.
I said the guy had no business being on a basketball court except for alley-oop to Karl Malone like every single time. I mean, but
they didn't know he was on the Olympic team. That's
right.
The thing.
You're going to put Magic in there, but you're going to put Magic in there for a different reason. I'm going to put Shaq in there. So I mean, it's tough for me to say this guy's number 1, this guy's number 2. If I can grab a pool of them and say this is my top 10, put them wherever you want. But that's because I think all these top 10 are interchangeable at any position.
See, and that's the thing for me. I put Kobe top 10. Like it's not even like he's number 10. It's just in the top 10. It's not even a specific number. He's just a top 10 player. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I think he's in my top 5, but whatever list you have him, I gotta have him above LeBron. I think LeBron, for the first time and probably forever, I agree with Skip Bayless when he said LeBron hasn't taken enough heat from the media about losing all these finals and about doing this and doing that. And just the fact that, like, he always seems to get a pass. Like he went to Miami. It was like not 1, not 2. Like, he got up to like 12. He's like, we're gonna win 12 championships or whatever. And then they went 50%.
Okay, so
I mean, his record's terrible.
it's terrible in the finals, but do we really expect LeBron to get that to win that first finals? Nobody expected them to win that
but
first
if you're,
finals.
I mean,
that's not even fair to
right.
him. Like, because he
would only have one. If Ray Allen didn't hit probably the clutchest shot.
I mean, that's part of it. I mean, we can say Kobe would have 4 if Derek Fisher didn't hit that clutch long range shot.
Yeah, but that's 4 compared to 2. And Kobe's percentage is a lot different.
No, I get it, but then Kobe would still be on par with Shaq.
But people are also like criticize Kobe. Mm-hmm. People go, Kobe needed Shaq. Kobe needed Gasol. Nobody criticizes LeBron. Nobody's like LeBron needed Wade. It's just they teamed up.
Well,
Kobe ain't one without Derek Fisher. Well,
I the way I see it, because LeBron he deserves criticism, but I think he does get the criticism because people always say LeBron's not a clutch performer. He doesn't perform in the big moments.
Not.
Like, he's not the best. He's not the best in clutch performance. I will admit that. But the whole rest of the game, I will take LeBron almost over anybody else for the rest. The whole 46, 47 minutes, LeBron is arguably the best player on the court. He gets everybody involved. He rebounds. He can guard positions 1 through 5. The dude can score. He's a locomotive going to the basket. He shoots. He scores efficiently. He doesn't need to take a lot of shots to score his basket. So. Now the final, because if LeBron honestly had 4 rings right now, would he be better than Kobe?
No,
I think
because the thing that's held against LeBron, because LeBron's career averages are better than Kobe. He got more MVPs.
I do. I think he'd be over.
He's got just as many Finals MVPs. So what is it? He's got just as many. Scores.
I think it's the rings, just like
it's just the rings,
just like Manning,
just
like Manning and Brady.
Yeah, if Manning had his. Because LeBron's gonna break Kobe's records. He's gonna break Kobe's records because Kobe's the youngest to do all this stuff. LeBron's breaking each and every one of Kobe's records at a way younger age and at a faster rate than Kobe Bryant did. Because
it was brought in the league earlier.
LeBron?
Yeah.
LeBron was older than Kobe when he came into the league.
No, they both came out of high school.
Yeah, they both came out. But Kobe was 17 when he got drafted. LeBron was 18. So LeBron's just doing it more efficiently. He's doing it at a faster rate. So it's just one of those things that I'm looking at. I can't knock LeBron. The only reason I knock LeBron is because, like we said, the finals record and in the late game clutch shooting. But not everybody's Michael. Not everybody's Kobe. Magic wasn't the clutchest shooter of all time. Everybody remembers the skyhook shot that he hit on the Celtics. But other than that, Magic wasn't the clutchest shooter of all time. So it's one of those things that if you take rings out of your department, who's the better player?
Steve Nash.
Feel you.
Oh God! We're moving on before this gets any further. All right. So now
Kobe is above LeBron.
Oh yeah.
So now we have random NBA topics. Just they didn't fit in anything. So, Durant or Westbrook, who's better? Yeah, I'm throwing the hard questions here.
Man.
Different players though.
But who's the number 1 on that team?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Durant.
Okay. It's going to be quick hitting. So staying on Durant, does he leave OKC? And if so, where?
If he leaves OKC.
Does he leave OKC is first question.
No, I don't think he leaves OKC.
Does he leave OKC?
Yeah.
Where does he go?
Washington.
Oh my.
No, he stays.
I have him signing a 1 year or 2 year contract with an opt out after 1. He opts out when Westbrook goes. If Westbrook doesn't sign an extension, he opts out and they both go to free agency and they probably only end up with 1. But I think he stays this year. I mean, you look at Washington. Washington's
It's rough, man. I cover them. It's rough. Washington's rough, man.
It's all about the going home.
The going home thing. Well, then that means Curry's contract expires and he's going to Charlotte. That's not happening.
That's a championship.
And see, but
they can't ever won a championship since he's been there.
The going home thing for me with Kevin Durant is different than how it worked for LeBron, because LeBron used to play for Cleveland. Kevin Durant never played in Washington.
And Kevin Durant went as far away from, not as far away as possible, but very far away from home to play college. He went to Texas. He could have played at Georgetown. He could have played at UVA. He could have played somewhere around there, but he literally went to the other side of the country to play college basketball. If he really was a home guy, and I know he loves his mom and he loves his city, but I think, honestly, he looks at it as OKC gives me a better option. I think he'll end up like a Jordan where he's on the Wizards way past his prime. Like he's there to retire as a Wizards and he does his farewell tour at his hometown.
You can see that.
Okay.
Moving on. Will Derrick Rose ever be back to his old self?
Nope.
Trey Rush go to D League.
D League. Oh man,
that's
this
hard.
guy just hates the Bulls.
Yeah,
It's not Jimmy Butler anymore. It's
he
the
got-
Bulls.
he got
Well,
something
I'm a
against
Bulls fan, and I'm telling you no.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, outside of they couldn't even build him a new body and make him as good as
Does he get? Does he get close?
No.
It's
Well-
mental. It's mental at this
yeah,
point.
it's honestly because we see
He
him
doesn't
play.
believe he can be as good as he once was.
He doesn't try to be as aggressive as he was because he knows that's how he got injured.
Mhm.
And when you take what he was away from himself, what do you have?
Yeah.
You have
RG3.
Yeah. The RG3 of the
It's a
NBA.
RG3.
Derrick Rose is the RG3 of basketball.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would dispute that. Kyrie, does he really want out?
I don't think he really wants out, but I think he needs to be out. If I was him, I would want out because he's not the point guard no more. LeBron's the point guard.
Brennan?
I think that Kyrie, it's like if he goes out, where's he gonna go? That's
A lot of teams will use him.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
mean-
that's the best situation if he wants to win. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the best situation for him to win. You're playing with
I don't know. You think about Tony Parker. Say, how old is Tony Parker?
Oh yeah,
Tony
because think about
Parker-
it. Tony Parker, this might be his last season.
I mean, if Tony Parker could take a pay cut to go get Kyrie Irving, and you're giving me Popovich with
Well,
Kyrie
you can't-
Irving,
you can't really take a pay cut because they already took a pay cut. Like
yeah.
Ginobili,
I-
Parker, and Duncan's contracts are like the
Well,
bare minimum.
Well, they're not that low, but
Yeah, they're really low.
and
Ginobili's
Kawhi
gone.
just signed a max.
Yeah.
The Marcus Aldridge just
Yeah,
came
but
there.
we have the TV deal coming in.
You do have the TV deal, but after that, the cap is gonna go back to its original state. So the cap swells over this point, so these guys can sign their contract. But the cap is gonna event. That's why the Golden State has to look at the projection of their team
Yeah.
right now, because down the line they're not going to be able to keep this. That's why people are saying they should go after Kevin Durant. You got nothing to lose because keeping your team currently constructed is going to be difficult as it is. So I don't think they can really get Kyrie for the money that.
I think they could get Kyrie.
That
I think it would
but
be
that-
interesting.
But how do you make that work?
You could make it work. It would work.
You got to pull a lot of. Cleveland has to be willing to pull a lot of strings too. 'cause
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
still on
it
contract
won't.
there.
It won't happen. I'm
Mhm.
just saying it could work. I mean, I don't think he really wants out. I think he was just upset that he like missed a game because of bed bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think he was mad. Ron's giggling like a little girl over there. Bed bugs. I don't know what Ron put under that. Better add another lock.
That wasn't me.
That was absolutely you.
Nope.
It won't me.
That wasn't me. I put R by mine.
Okay, maybe
That wasn't me. I don't know who did
maybe
that.
I fell asleep writing this. Anyway, will LeBron James opt out? He can opt out at the end of this year. The by you
Wow.
talking-
What happened to your
talk-
face?
talking
you have a stroke?
talking is difficult. Apparently, the decision part 2. Is it possible? Does he do it?
And he will be the reason there'll be a 300% spike in alcohol-related deaths
Yes.
Oh man.
In Cleveland.
Oh
in
man.
Cleveland, which
Nah,
already has the most in the nation.
He's not. Where's he gonna go? Like
He could go anywhere.
But I mean, honestly, where's he gonna go?
Golden State. He goes there and Durant stays.
If he goes to
Oh.
if he goes to Golden State, I would not watch NBA anymore.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be.
I would
No,
not watch the NBA anymore.
I-
He said,
Yeah.
It's
if Durant goes there, I think it's like
No, see, I can watch that.
yeah,
that's gonna be fun. Just the way he fits in. there.
but
Just
but
like, because it's because LeBron already went to another team
Yeah.
for full of stars. Durant hasn't done it yet. And
I think
Durant,
Kobe should come back for one more year. And
He opened
Come back one more year.
One more year. He just comes back, just pulls a Michael, comes right back.
I think he
plays golf.
opts
Right.
Comes
out.
back.
Hey, we got an update though. The Thunder only lead 95-91 now.
Oh wow.
What? So,
Yeah, that's
so
coach
as we
for you.
see, this is why the Thunder cannot beat the
Yeah.
Warriors because they can't.
We're gonna push the time limit here.
What, the 4 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we Well, I don't think Durant played or Durant killed himself or something because
Durant has 27 points.
yeah, he had 27 at the start of the fourth quarter.
He's looking to opt out with LeBron.
Yeah. No, but I think LeBron opts out because to get more money. I think he just goes back to the same team. He just gets more money.
Oh yeah, that's why he's signing.
Yeah, exactly, but-
Contracts to do that because he's like, I'm gonna stay in Cleveland, but I'm gonna get the most I can out of Cleveland. You can pay me more money.
Speaking of OKC, did you see what their part owner did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran. Did you see what the cops said? Verbatim, they said he just drove straight into a brick wall pretty much. That was verbatim what the cops said.
Wow. That's
It's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
crazy.
after because of his
Yeah.
he's going to jail.
Yeah, he
anyway,
was.
so
He was
he's-
absolutely going to jail. John Wall. We're just right back to a happy topic. John Wall, a top 3 point guard in the league.
No,
No.
We talked about this on our show.
Who put this?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
He made the comments about it.
that he's-
Okay.
Yeah, he said he was a top 3 point guard.
He
so.
said Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook are the point guards ahead of him.
And
Yeah.
I crap rainbows apparently.
I mean,
so
yeah, I'm taking Lillard.
And see,
I
but
don't think Lillard's better than
this is the
him.
thing.
You don't think Lillard's better than him?
This is the criteria. I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
is he
here we go.
talking about as a passing point guard,
That
a
yeah.
scoring point guard, or all around? Like, there's so many criteria. So a
I'm-
point guard nowadays,
yeah.
because it seems like what's guarded as the best point guard nowadays are the ones that can score.
Yeah.
Like, those are the guys that are seen as the better point guards.
And then if you look at it that way, then yeah, you can say Damian Lillard because he averages 25.
Yeah, I
John
mean,
Wall averaged 19.
But I would take Lillard over if I'm making a top 5 point guards. Lillard's making it before John Wall.
And this is the question I wanted to ask you earlier. 'Cause I was like, if you wouldn't put Lillard above
Oh yeah.
Rondo, or you say you don't think Lillard's better than Rondo and John Wall, then why would you say Steph Curry is better than CP3 or Russell Westbrook? Because CP3 is a scoring guard. I mean, Steph Curry is a scoring guard also.
Because Steph Curry can like I said earlier, Steph Curry is an offensive threat that has the IQ of a point guard, that has the vision of a point guard. He may not average as many assists as someone like a Rajon Rondo or Chris Paul, but he still has that vision.
But Damian Lillard's shown that he had the vision too, because he averaged just as many assists as Stephen Curry.
Especially when he had a team.
Yeah. So how is it that Damian Lillard hasn't shown that he doesn't have that same vision or the IQ as Steph? He just doesn't average as many points as Steph, and his team's not as good as Steph's. But that's the only
because
difference.
he's not because he's not Steph.
No, but I'm saying
We've
then,
seen-
then why is it that
because
Steph is
Damian
better
Lillard
than them
doesn't-
two?
Damian Lillard doesn't draw the attention that Steph Curry draws.
The Clippers are winning right now.
They took the lead.
98-97.
what?
Damn, Oklahoma
What is
City,
it?
man.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
They've given up 30. They've given us 60 points in the second half.
Wow,
That's
that
insane.
defense.
That's insane. That's coach for you.
Right.
The worst.
But yeah, what were you saying?
Speaking of the
I don't
Clippers,
know, I was just
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about Donovan,
Yeah, we'll just-
like
we'll-
how
how bad of a coach he is.
I don't think he's bad.
He's a
It's
Scott
just-
Brooks 2.0. Like, we literally found the clone of Scott Brooks. Like, it's ridiculous.
He's worse actually.
Yeah.
Scott Brooks actually had them good on defense. They just didn't know what they were doing on offense on the late game situation. They haven't been healthy
Yeah.
when Scott Brooks was there. So I feel for him.
The Clippers, they don't win it all this year, which is very unlikely. Do they blow up their core? So they blow up the CP3, DeAndre Jordans, and Chris.
Blake
Not
Griffin.
Chris. Yeah.
Well, Blake Griffin, I don't. You need those three, but if they blow up, is it like the Celtics blow up where Doc Rivers is gone too? Type blow up.
No, I think Rivers likes it there.
So what's stopping everybody else from liking it there? I mean,
Well, no, I just does the front office blow up the core of it if they don't win it?
no, because here's the deal: the Los Angeles Clippers, being Lob City, bring in a lot of money. You take the score away, you lose your chance of winning, and you lose what a lot of people come to see play. These people ain't gonna come see the Clippers play without Chris Paul, without DeAndre Jordan, without Blake Griffin. If you're telling me you take those three off, you take one of at least two of them. You take Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan and give them like a Dwight Howard. They're not coming to see them play.
Well, Dwight Howard's garbage.
They're not coming to see them play.
No,
Like, the
I
Clippers-
mean,
Clippers are gonna be back to a no-name team that nobody cares about anymore.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thinks the Clippers could trade away a couple of players and be at the level of the Warriors. So, like you said, might as well sell tickets and make posters and stuff to have some fun.
Posters.
College basketball. We finally made it out of NBA, guys. We did it. And yet Johnny Manziel was still our biggest talking point at 30 minutes. We spent 30 minutes of this, I think it was 27.
Yeah.
On Johnny Manziel. That's why he's our favorite quarterback.
No, that's yours.
I think it's at the square table, he's our favorite quarterback. All right, so NBA basketball. Who's going to win it all? Because I need to fill out a bracket soon and I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I had at the very beginning, before the season started, I did my like super way too early to pick. Why am I even telling you pick? And I said Michigan State. So that's going to be my pick throughout just because they're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So if they do win it all, I can be like, look what I did. I'm the man. But I mean, it's crazy.
Honestly, I don't even, because you know how they, sorry, you know how they say defense wins championships, but I don't even know anymore. Because last year, Kentucky was number 1 in defense, made it to the Final Four, lost. Last year, Duke was number 3 in offense, got all the way there and won. So I don't even know anymore. I honestly don't even like. And this year, nobody's giving me a valid case to be able to pick them and say, "Hey, I have faith in you. I believe you're going to take me there." I probably would say is either Kansas or Villanova, maybe, and that's because I feel like Kansas has all facets of and they have the perimeter play, they have the post play. So if they need easy buckets, they can go down low to Perry Ellis, and then they have good guard play, so they can keep up with the teams that excel on the perimeter. So I'd probably say Kansas.
I think Kansas looked good against Texas. Villanova, I don't feel like has played anybody like enough for me to put stock in them. But I mean, it's just so spread out this year.
Yeah, it is.
Like there's no like clear-cut team. Like Kentucky looks like not great.
Not at all.
And usually it's like,
LSU,
yeah, I mean, it's like, Ron, you think Iowa's going to win it all?
Iowa?
Iowa State.
Thank you.
Iowa. Oh.
See this right here?
No, nobody can see it. We're on the
Is
radio.
Iowa State even ranked?
We're also on YouTube. I see the camera right there. I'm pointing.
Yeah, but nobody's watching.
Iowa
Oh,
State
4
ranked?
people are watching.
I know Iowa's ranked, but is Iowa State ranked?
Yeah, Iowa State.
Yeah.
I think Iowa State is ranked like decent, or they were for the majority of the year.
I'll tell you what it is right now.
They were like
I followed them on
15-ish.
Teamstream.
15, because Iowa was just 8 until they lost.
Yeah.
So I feel like coming in, I mean, I guess people gonna say I'm biased, but it's not being biased. I thought the most complete team was UNC with all the senior leadership they had and the big man they had, the way Bryce Johnson was playing. Marcus Page just hasn't played the way he played. But honestly, the most complete team there is Michigan State. And coming into the tournament, they already have the advantage by having Tom Izzo as a coach. Because I think he's the best tournament coach there is right now.
Iowa State's 21.
Yep.
Iowa
I
State.
just found it as you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Izzo is the best tournament coach. I mean, even you
Tell me
saw
about it.
last year what he did with the team. So it's hard to go against Michigan State. UVA has a very complete team. We see their defense can play. Kansas with Perry Ellis working on his 3rd Masters. I mean, he's been there that long. And Frank Mason, both of them seniors, they can play. So look at those. Like, it's hard to tell who's gonna win because of the region. Because like you said, you can get Michigan State stuck in the dead region where you get like UVA in there, you get Kentucky, you get LSU, you get the Texas. You gotta go through all of that. And you have like the easy breeze, like Duke's probably can go through like nobody, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just the region you get put in determines who's gonna win. But honestly, I feel like it's either gonna be Virginia, North Carolina, Kansas, or Michigan State.
So
That's why I wait until
the bracket.
the
my God.
final seating comes
Because
out.
the region makeup is huge.
So talking, you mentioned UVA. What are the chances they're the local team? So obviously we'll take the thing. What are the chances they win the title?
For the past 3 seasons, UVA's had a great chance to win every year. This is for this team for Bennett's best team. This is by far Bennett's best team.
I think last year was.
No. See, I'm gonna tell you why. Because this team is defensive efficiency is still where it is, but they average at least 10 more points than what they did last season. So they're playing the same defense as they would at Strat. Yeah, they had better players last year, but at the same time, they're playing better defense and they're averaging more points on offense. There's no way you can decline that way.
What? Well, why
It's
isn't Brogdon not getting his due?
Because Brogdon isn't averaging stats like Buddy Hill or like Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
still,
that.
he's like one of the better players in
He
the
is.
NBA in NCAA,
He is.
and like nobody's talking about him.
It's because you got those people out there because think about how like Brendan was saying
Yeah, but
earlier,
I mean,
social
like-
media, everything is changing to
Yeah,
you got to be a scorer. 18.
22-1.
They're saying 18 points is not really enough.
That's your odds.
Oh my God. So Ron's just getting very statistical. I don't think that's a word, but he's pulling out stats because we apparently like to do that on this show. 22-1 odds. I'd put money
Plus
on that.
1,600.
I'd put money on that.
Yeah.
22-1.
For UVA,
Yeah,
I put money on the Redskins last year. and
that
they
was a
killed them.
mistake.
to make the playoffs or to win it all.
To win it all because it was like 2,500 to 1. I put $50 on it. I win like $500 million.
I don't think that's the math.
No, I don't. It's not. But like, if I win 500 grand because I put $50 in there,
All
why
right.
not?
We're gonna end on this last one because we've been on the air for way too long, and anybody that listens to this entire podcast and gets to this point, thank you. I don't know how you managed to do that.
There's been consistent.
You fell asleep, or you have no arms.
Yeah.
Somebody left you sitting in the room with this going.
I'm so sorry if that happened. I think there's a thing called Siri that you could use, but at this point, you're committed. Last question. Ben Simmons was seen as the next LeBron James, the best thing in college basketball. Is he the best player in college basketball?
See the way you worded that question. It makes it different.
What is he the best player in college basketball?
He's the best player in college basketball. Has he had the best season? Has he shown to be the best player? He has not. But he's clearly the best player in college basketball. I mean, he's basically near averaging a triple-double.
Is he going to be the number one pick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he's the best player in college
It's locked.
It's different because what he's done, he's just been this passive-aggressive person that's just there. But his stats is like his stats are all quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet, like triple-double.
Well, he's like a quiet triple-double.
Yeah, but like Buddy Hield, he's been killing it though.
So is Valentine. Valentine's
yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah, but
Ben Simmons.
I mean, I would say the only person that might overtake him is Buddy. I don't think Valentine's doing enough, but I think Simmons is one.
Valentine almost averaged a triple-double.
That's true. Simmons or Billy is out there doing things kind of out of the blue. Like he's a senior. Where was he the first 3 years?
I mean, well.
Like Oklahoma wasn't like a powerhouse.
He was okay. He was decent last year.
Yeah, but I mean, like Oklahoma wasn't the powerhouse they are.
He was player of the year in the conference.
Yeah, but who else in that? Texas was no good last year. Trying to think who else in that conference. Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor. I forgot who Baylor had, but that
Kansas.
Kansas is in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He won player of the year last year.
Uh-huh.
Perry Ellis is finally retiring.
I told you
or not even retiring. I feel like that man should be retiring.
I told you when he's working on his third masters.
I feel like it, man. And I think Ron's younger than him. Ron, how old are you? 30, 40, 50, 60, 70? Stop me when I get there. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Be sure you tune in to KBR. They got 3 people. Only 2 could make it today, man. But we'll get the others on here soon enough. Mondays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11. My show fluctuates. I just kind of blast it on social media. Usually Fridays for however long Ron struggles to get out of the restraining vest he is in. And then Ron's show is on. Ron, when's your show on?
Our show, well, we're off right now. We won't be back on until free agency, but we'll be back on we'll be back on this weekend, Saturday evening, 6 o'clock.
So if you have nothing better to do on your weekends,
jeez, man, really?
Tune in to Football is America. No, it's a good show. I'm joking.
It is a good show. We're awesome. Way better than you.
Well, okay. let's not go too far. You heard what Ron said. So just keep that in mind. Oklahoma City lost, by the way.
Are awful.
Yeah, just trash.
Awful. How do you blow a 20-point lead?
I think they're 1-4, 1-5 coming out of the All-Star break.
Yeah.
This 2-5. Because they beat Sacramento
Let's shake them
the other night.
Let's shake them.
Yeah, we'll just put them in the bus,
crazy.
put them in a giant paint shaker.
This is tragic.
All right. You know me. I'm Alex with Cup Check. Like I said, this was a lot of fun, guys. Try to do this bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
bring y'all on KBR Sports, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in too.
Yeah, I probably won't come on the next one because this is way more basketball than I can handle.
yeah, well,
like you get me on for the free agency thing, and then I'll dip out after that.
or Ron, you just learn basketball.
I don't know. We got to do something about the super glue. Like,
yeah, no. I heard hot water works, but I didn't. I just kind of wanted to sit there and watch you squirm.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Well, I thought it was a very lovely story, and you tell it so well.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.